Okay. Got everybody in? Okay. The May the 4th, 2026 legislative session of the Anne Arundel County Council is called to order. May the 4th be with us as we go forth tonight. Please ensure all phones and electronic devices are set to silent. Mr. Smith will lead us in the invocation.
Please pray in a manner consistent with your faith as I pray in one consistent with mine. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you with gratitude for the opportunity to serve our community. We ask for your wisdom and guidance over this meeting and over every decision made here today. Grant clarity of thought, unity of purpose, and the spirit of cooperation among all who are present. Help us lead with integrity, to listen with open minds, and to act with fairness and compassion. May our choices reflect what is right and just, and may it benefit all those who entrusted to serve. We ask for your blessing on this work and the people of our community. In your mighty, majestic name we pray. Amen.
Ms. Fiedler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to call Troop 835 from Arnold to the front. I had the pleasure of meeting with them before the meeting and answering some of their fantastic questions about the legislative role of the council body, and they are going to now lead us in the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scouts. Madam Secretary, please read the ethics statement.
The Ethics Commission has asked that I advise you that under certain circumstances, members of the public may qualify as lobbyists when they testify before the County Council. If so, the law requires that certain information be filed with the Ethics Commission. The Chair of the Ethics Commission has asked that those who wish to testify in any form review the general information on lobbying sheet located on the Ethics website under Forms and Publications. If there are any questions about lobbying requirements, please contact the Ethics Commission at 410-222-4412.
Before we open our discussions and public hearings, I would like to remind everyone in attendance, whether testifying or as a member of the audience, that we must maintain decorum at all times within these chambers. Please understand that individual conversations in the audience are very disruptive to the proceedings, and I would kindly ask you to step out of the chambers if a side discussion is necessary. We will now open our invitation to the audience. This is an opportunity to speak briefly on any subject not included in the printed agenda. Madam Secretary, did we receive any testimony through the online testimony tool?
Yes, Madam Chair. We received one piece which was shared with the Council, added to the record, and posted to the website.
Okay. We will now call on individuals who signed up ahead of the meeting. When I call your name, please come up to the table and have a seat. When it is your turn, state your name and address for the record. Remarks will be limited to 2 minutes. Please listen for the buzzer and respect the 2-minute time limit as others are signed up to speak. If you have more than 2 minutes to share, I'm going to ask you to submit your additional thoughts using our online testimony tool. We have one person who signed up ahead of time, Corey Smith. And if there's anyone else here who wishes to speak on an item not on the agenda, you may come forward at this time. Mr. Nimhard, you can go ahead.
Here, Kyle Nemhard, Glen Burnie, Maryland. Yes, may the 4th be with you. Little inside joke there. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the County Council. I want to start today by commending County Executive Pittman for speaking out in support of Councilwoman Lisa Ravian's bill to get developer money out of politics. A bill that was unfortunately voted down 5-2 without discussion of proposed or additional amendments. County Executive Pittman also notes how Anne Arundel County's apology for slavery was something personal to him given his family history. However, my parents always taught me that an apology without change is just a manipulation. The County Executive's office has been largely silent regarding Freetown community's concerns about developer exploitation of the neighborhood. This is the first neighborhood in the state of Maryland to be established by freed slaves. This history should be a badge of honor for Anne Arundel County. The Pittman administration cannot afford to look the other way if his apology is to mean anything. Yet his administration is now in violation of the MPIA, the Maryland Public Information Act, in addition to making it more difficult to track the status of developer approvals, and has a track record of hardly denying any developer exception requests. But at least we preserved 47 acres of land in Annapolis at a cost of 76 townhouses. To put it in perspective, twice as many townhouses are being proposed in half as much land in Freetown. However, instead of just pointing the finger, the county council should ask itself, what can we do to step up? We residents are doing our part. We're just asking you to meet us halfway. I remind the council that Montgomery County unanimously closed a developer loophole similar to AACC Bill 1924, line 21, to prevent developers from overwhelming local infrastructure. Now, some may feel that I'm standing in the way of legacy, but I urge you to consider this. Legacies are built on impact, not intent. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Nimhard. Mr. Svensson.
Kurt Svensson, Arnold, Maryland. My written testimony contains a wrap-up of the four-part series I provided to you over the past couple of months on setting impact fees with a focus on roads. This was initially presented to the Growth Action Network back in June of 2025 in preparation for what was then expected to be the imminent introduction of impact fee legislation. In what now amounts to a political gesture, an impact fee bill will be introduced soon. My hope is that you and my fellow citizens will consider the insights I've shared. They represent the cumulative knowledge of my 25-year career with the Anne Arundel County government, for the majority of which I was the subject matter expert on impact fees. In retirement, I've been active in the Peer Learning Partnership Program at Anne Arundel Community College. I'm currently facilitating for the third time over 5 years a course entitled Social Polarization, Regaining Balance. I'm finalizing a new course I'll be facilitating this fall entitled Home Rule, The Power Struggle Between State and Local Government. It'll be approached in the context of specific issues commonly discussed in this forum: voting system reforms, property tax limits, common ownership group governance, and housing affordability. It's fascinating, in a sad kind of way, how my review of the 2023 Impact Fee Cost Study and my attendance at this Saturday's third annual Community Association Summit have provided clear case study examples of government capture. I didn't have to go to the halls of government in DC or visit the State House. Clear examples of the forces eroding trust in government are on display right here in Anne Arundel County. I'm calling them out. You need to confront them and do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Svensson. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Jan Randall. I live at 4024 Curl Dock Lane, Odenton. In a public meeting a few years ago, you, the county, acknowledged that the traffic peninsula created by the Two Rivers development was a mistake that is compounded by the county's financial limitations to correct this mistake in a timely manner. I, as a homeowner, signed a contract with the developers of Two Rivers. As is true with any contract, promises are made by both parties. I was promised my home and open space in parcels N and O.
Ms. Randall, this is an item that's on the agenda for Region 5.
I did not see that.
Region 5 is on the agenda, and so this would be comments that would need to be made at that time.
Okay.
Okay.
So I didn't sign up. Is that going to be a
That's all
problem?
right. We'll be calling up at that time as well.
Okay.
So,
Then she
and
is
it-
too.
Okay,
Same.
then I am the same thing, except I did sign up before and I did submit testimony, so I'm a little confused when you said that hadn't
Yes,
or Murray.
yes.
Okay.
Right. You'll be called up when we get to Region 5.
Okay.
So, thank you. So, is there anyone else here who wishes to speak on an item not on the agenda? Okay, seeing no movement, the invitation to audience is now closed. Bless you. Is there any item any council member would like to place on the agenda? Okay, may I have a motion that the partial reading of any bill, resolution, amendment to a bill or resolution, or minutes constitutes the reading of the whole?
So moved.
All in favor? Oh, wait, did I have a second? Okay, all in favor? Aye, motion carries. Madam Secretary, please read the minutes of the legislative session and the closed session of April 20th, 2026.
The County Council meeting was called to order by Chair Hummer at 7:04 p.m. It was opened with the invocation given by Ms. Rodvian and was followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. The meeting was held in the County Council chambers in Annapolis, Maryland. And for the minutes of the closed session, a closed meeting was held on April 20th, 2026, in accordance with Section 305B1 of the General Provisions Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland to discuss a personnel matter. Chair Hummer opened the meeting at 10:25 p.m. and was held in room 143 of the Arundel Center in Annapolis, Maryland.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the legislative session and the closed meeting of April 20th, 2026?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The minutes of the legislative session and the closed meeting of April 20th, 2026 stand approved as read. Madam Secretary, please read the titles of the bills to be introduced this evening.
We will not be introducing any bills this evening.
Okay. Madam Secretary, please read the titles of the resolutions to be introduced this evening.
Resolution number 1026, resolution endorsing financial assistance from the Maryland Economic Development Assistance Fund to Holly Poultry Incorporated. And resolution number 1126, resolution endorsing financial assistance from the Maryland Economic Development Assistance Fund to Intuitive Machines LLC.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to be added, Madam Secretary, as a co-sponsor to Bill 1926.
Noted. Thank you, Ms. Fiedler.
All right. Okay, Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 2626.
Bill number 2626, an ordinance concerning National Business Park North Special Taxing District modification of boundaries.
Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ethan Hunt for the administration. With me, I have Lori Blair Klossmeyer, our Deputy County Attorney, David Gregory and Ellie Pinto from McKinnon, Shelton, and Henn, our Bond Counsel, and Brian Schenk, our Financial Services Manager from the Office of Finance. We discussed this bill as well as an associated bill and resolution at the work session, but just to refresh everyone's memory, this bill it modifies the boundaries of the National Business Park North Special Taxing District. The property owner has acquired additional parcels of land, and it is adding these parcels to the tax increment financing district. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Ms. Pickard? We will now open the public hearing on Bill number 2626. Madam Secretary, did we receive any testimony through the online testimony tool?
No, Madam Chair, we did not.
Okay, we will now call on individuals who signed up ahead of the meeting. When I call your name, please come up to the table and have a seat. When it is your turn, state your name and address for the record. Remarks will be limited to 2 minutes. Please listen for the buzzer and respect the 2-minute time limit as others are signed up to speak. If you have more than 2 minutes to share, I'm going to ask you to submit your additional thoughts as early as tomorrow using our online testimony tool. We have one person who signed up ahead of time, Jacob Hoffner. If there's anyone else here who wishes to speak on Bill number 2626, you may also come up at this time. Mr. Hoffner?
So I'm here to speak on 2626 and 2726. Should I wait until?
No, that's fine. You can go
Okay.
ahead. Yep.
Good evening, council members. My name is Jacob Hoffner, and I'm a resident of Arnold, Maryland. I recognize the arrangement with COPT has benefited Anne Arundel County, and I'm not here to dispute that. But I am here to inform my fellow community members that there's a $3.6 billion corporation leveraging their capital to influence our local government and to protect their bottom line. According to recent SEC filings, roughly 80% of COPT is owned by BlackRock, Vanguard, and the other usual suspects. The 3 largest asset managers in the world control nearly a third of this company. COPT isn't just a landlord in Anne Arundel County. Do the council members know that Amazon Web Services pays COPT roughly $56 million annually to host the servers that run a huge portion of the American internet? Is the public aware that COPT builds, then sells data centers to Blackstone, the world's largest alternative asset manager? I certainly didn't until I saw this bill and educated myself on the history of COPT. When we support COPT's business, we are contributing to the sprawl of a technocratic wealth extraction network that includes Amazon, Blackstone, and the same handful of Wall Street institutions that own most of corporate America. The benefits that working class families receive are labor opportunities. That labor pays for their mortgages, their bills, their gas, and their groceries, all of which are subject to the highest level of taxation and interest rates, a pain that COPT will never know because of a privileged tax zone. The fact that county legislation is being shaped to improve the bottom line of COPT and its shareholders demonstrates that no level of governance is safe from the insatiable appetite of capital. We are living through the largest concentration of wealth in modern American history, and that concentration is built through small, technical, local decisions, exactly like the one on tonight's agenda. I'm not asking the council to... Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffner. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on this bill? The public hearing on Bill number 2626 is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 2626.
Bill number 2626, an ordinance concerning National Business Park North Special Taxing District modification of boundaries.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Mr. Smith?
Yeah, I just had a few notes. I work in that general area, and I can assure you that the entities that are going up at NBP North supports Fort Meade, specifically the National Security Agency and U.S. Cyber Command. Just about all the industries and businesses that are over there are providing national security for the country. I've been working in that space for the last 20 years, and I can assure you that's exactly what they're doing. I also, if you go on my back deck, I can see the development. So this is one of those things where I obviously am proud that the gentleman came up to talk about the larger context of corporate entities, but I can assure you this space is doing something that is meaningful to the defense of our country. And so I'm certainly supportive of it. It's in my councilmatic district, and literally when I look out my back door, I can see the compound. And so with that being said, I'm certainly supportive of the legislation. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All right. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on Bill number 2626.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
Mr. Volkey?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian?
Nay.
Ms. Ledbetter?
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer?
Aye.
6 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative. Bill number 2626 is passed.
Madam Secretary, please read the title of Resolution number 626.
Resolution number 626, resolution amending resolution number 1210 to modify the boundaries of the National Business Park North Development District.
Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, Ethan Hunt for the administration, Lori Blair Klossmeyer, Deputy County Attorney, David Gregory and Ellie Pinto from our Bond Counsel, and Brian Schenk from the Office of Finance. Resolution 626 is amending the Development District of National Business Park North. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Any discussion? We will now open the public hearing on resolution number 626. Madam Secretary, did we receive any testimony through the online testimony tool?
No, Madam Chair, we did not.
Okay, no one signed up ahead of time. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak on resolution number 626? Seeing no movement, the public hearing on resolution number 626 is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of resolution number 626.
Resolution number 626, resolution amending resolution number 1210 to modify the boundaries of the National Business Park North Development District.
Okay, any further discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll on resolution number 626.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
Mr. Volkey?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian?
Nay.
Ms. Ledbetter?
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer?
Aye.
6 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative. Resolution number 626 has been adopted.
Madam Secretary, please read the title of bill number 2726.
Resolution number Bill number 2726.
Bill
An ordinance concerning special obligation refunding bonds, National Business Park North Development District, National Business Park North Special Taxing District.
Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, Ethan Hunt for the administration, Lori Blair Klossmeyer from the Office of Law, David Gregory and Ellie Pinto from our Bond Counsel, and Brian Schenk from the Office of Finance. Bill 2726 amends the initial bill that issued the bonds and for the National Business Park North Tax Increment Financing District. And because the boundaries of the tax district are being amended, the recitals for the bond issuance have to be amended as well. So this is amending those recitals to reflect that.
Okay. Any discussion? We will now open the public hearing on bill number 2726. Madam Secretary, did we receive any testimony through the online testimony tool?
No, Madam Chair, we did not.
Okay, we will now call on individuals who signed up ahead of the meeting. When I call your name, please come up to the table and have a seat. When it's your turn, state your name and address for the record. Remarks will be limited to 2 minutes. Please listen for the buzzer and respect the 2-minute time limit as others are signed up to speak. If you have more than 2 minutes to share, I'm going to ask you to submit your additional thoughts as early as tomorrow using our online testimony tool. Jacob Hoffner. Mr. Hoffner, if you would like to come up and speak again, you may. And if there's anyone else here who wishes to speak on Bill number 2726, you may also come up at this time.
Jacob Hoffner from Arnold, Maryland. I'm just going to wrap up here. Okay, so following my previous statements, we are living through the largest concentration of wealth in modern American history. And that concentration is built through small, technical, local decisions exactly like the one on tonight's agenda. I'm not asking the council to vote no. I am asking for accountability and visibility. Will the council acknowledge that this contributes to the ever-widening wealth gap? And will the council commit to providing the same or equivalent tools to the working-class families in our county? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffner. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on Bill number 2726? Seeing no movement, the public hearing on Bill number 2726 is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 2726.
Bill number 2726, an ordinance concerning special obligation refunding bonds, National Business Park North Development District, National Business Park North Special Taxing District.
Any further discussion? Mr. Volkey?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I want to thank our legislative staff for the brief that you all put together. I just want to understand, it looks like the proposed modification with the addition of the 24.5 acres that's going to come in will support development of 2 data storage centers and then a parking garage. Am I looking at the right document? Do we know? I don't know. If you know or I know. Apparently there's some project, FD 2026-0020, according to the OPZ Land Use Navigator, applications for development of 2 data storage centers and accompanying parking garage? No?
So the land that's getting added in is not affecting like the original project whatsoever. So
Okay.
anything that land is involved was in the original project description. So it's not like a new addition or anything
Got
like
it.
that.
Okay,
It's just
okay.
it's just additional land purchased since the first round.
But there's no plans for the land yet. They're just bringing it into the TIF?
Just bringing it into the TIF,
Okay.
there are, the plans for that parcel are kind of the original plans. It's not like an amendment to their development whatsoever.
Okay, and
Yeah.
so then was the original plan to put data storage centers there with the parking garage?
Yes.
Gotcha.
And then
Okay.
this is more like perimeter land that surrounds the district itself that's just getting added in.
Okay, all right. Well, just following up on Councilmember Smith's resolution to study data and energy uses, something to pay attention to. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on Bill number 2726.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
Mr. Volkey?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Radvian?
Aye.
Ms. Ledbetter?
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer?
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 2726 has passed.
Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 2526.
Bill number 2526, an ordinance concerning current expense budget, supplementary appropriations.
Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ethan Hunt for the administration. With me, I have Lori Blair Klossmeyer, our Deputy County Attorney. Joining me at the table, I also have Chris Trumbauer, our Budget Officer, Susan Harold, our Central Services Officer, Nicole Clinton, our Deputy Central Services Officer, Michael Zotto, our Safety and Insurance Manager, all from the Office of Central Services, Kirkland Murray, our Workforce Development President, and Rachel McConaughey, our Director of the Department of Social Services, and Alex Backey, our Deputy Director of Highways in the Department of Public Works. This bill was discussed at the work session. We had a very robust conversation about the different supplementary appropriations and transfers. Just briefly, it appropriates $10,515,000 from unappropriated fund balance and transfers $8,098,900 from CAO contingency for a total of $18,613,900. Of that, $10 million is going to the contribution to the self-insurance fund, $515,000 is going to the Workforce Development Corporation. In Public Works, $1.222 million is going to personal services, $5,520,400 is going to contractual services, $1,305,800 is going to supplies and materials, and then $50,000 is going to personal services in the Partnership for Children, Youth, and Families. And we're happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Mr. Volkey?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The $8 million, just to confirm, that's because of the ice Mageddon that we had for a long, long time?
Correct.
And all the extra work that had to be done by the contractors and DPW?
Correct. And
Okay.
and Alex Bakke has a plethora of information on that,
Oh,
or an
I-
avalanche, if you will.
Did you say an avalanche?
Yes,
Wow.
avalanche of information. So I'm sure he's, sorry.
Yeah. He lived through it, man. He got all the emails, so, yeah.
That's right.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right, we will now open the public hearing on Bill number 2526. Madam Secretary, did we receive any testimony through the online testimony tool?
No, Madam Chair, we did not.
Okay, no one signed up ahead of time. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak on Bill number 2526? Okay, seeing no movement, the public hearing on Bill number 2526 is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 2526.
Bill number 2526, an ordinance concerning current expense budget, supplementary appropriations.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Mr. Volkey?
One more question. So the 10 million in the self-insurance fund, what's going on there? I understand, I think, what's happening with roads, but that's a significant add. So did we have, I'll just ask you, what's going on there?
Sure. Susan Harold, Central Services Officer. Primarily, the reason for the negative fund balance is the year-over-year increase in the claims, primarily workers' compensation claims.
So we've been seeing an uptick in workers' comp claims.
We have about a 7% over last year
Okay.
increase, which is about a 17% increase in cost.
Do we know what that's attributable to?
There's several things. The workers' comp, the cost, that our medical inflation is 6.4% in the Mid-Atlantic region, where nationally it's 3.2%. Remember, the SIF also covers not just county government, but the community college, the library, the Board of Ed. We have more positions. Fortunately, we are all paid more than we were last year. So there are all of those factor in. The county did experience 5 very large non-workers' comp claims under general liability. And then we had some larger automotive claims. So all of those together come up with the increase.
And since we're sitting here having just gotten the budget and looking toward next year, are we going to continue to have to fund at this level on an ongoing basis, or do we see this as sort of a spike that may come back and normalize?
So we will have a spike. Part of the other piece of the puzzle was the Child Victim Act cases.
What is it?
The Child Victims
Oh,
Act
okay.
cases. And so we've received 33 of those. And so during the open window when the liability was a larger amount, 31 of those came in. So there will be a spike. We can manage somewhat year to year, but the reporting, the basis for what's in the fund is based on the reporting that we do in October, right? And so when we report in October, that goes in the ACFR. These were projections in February. So I do believe that it will remain at the higher level. Again, we've given money, the SIF has given money back before, but
Not this year.
if we can break even, not this
Yeah,
year, if
yeah,
we
yeah.
can break even, we're doing well, but this year is, we need some additional funding,
Okay, thank you.
certainly.
Any further questions, Mr. Smith?
Mine will be quick. So with the worker comps specific ones, is there a policy where you take those use cases and start to implement training or safety mechanisms or things that can help reduce future occurrences that occur? Is that a process you have in place?
You mean as part of the workers' compensation program or just in general?
Just in general. So
We do have a very robust safety program. It's run by the Risk Management Department, and so ensuring all county departments work in a safe environment, and so that we reduce the workers' comp claims ultimately.
Have you seen any sort of impact of that training program or that particular path?
Well, I would hope to say, I don't have statistics with me, but I would hope to say that we do have a very good track record of not having really major
Good.
safety issues
Sure.
within the county. So our safety team, as well as DPW's safety team, are fantastic, and they do a really great job training our employees to be safe on a daily basis.
I just brought it up because in the Marines, every time we had a devil dog that did something crazy, everyone in the unit or everyone on the base, quite frankly, got trained on it. So I wanted to make sure we were at least implementing something that can reduce the occurrences.
We have, we implement new programs every year. Our training people are fantastic.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mr. Volpe.
Did you call it a devil dog?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. That's the dry head coming out of me.
Yeah, I might use that, but I don't know. Are we seeing any difference in terms of the cases that we try versus settle? Like, is that having anything to do with the liability? I'm just curious, and that may not be you, that may be Office of Law, and I don't want you to get into like litigation strategy or anything. I'm just curious what's going on, because I've asked a lot of questions about this in the past, about which cases we settle versus the ones that we take to trial. So I don't know if anybody can speak to that, or if we'll just, maybe that's my primer for budget when law is here and central services is back, and I'll ask again.
Lori Blair, Deputy County Attorney. I am not involved in litigation in our office.
You're on the other side of the house.
They're on the other side of the house. Miss
Yeah.
Kenny is the only other member here, and they're on the other, it was on my side of the house.
She's on the government ops side like you.
Yes, she is. So, but I'm certainly, you can address those questions to our litigation side. I should be happy to give you some information.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Fiedler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We talked about this bill pretty extensively during the work session, but one of Councilman Volke's questions for my question, the 5 non-workers' comp claims, those are really impossible to predict year to year. And is 5 typically what we see, or is this an anomaly?
So typically 2 or 3, and one of this was the cyber event.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Cyber incident.
Cyber incident.
Is that better? Cyber incident.
No, he was saying workers' comp from the cyber incident, but that's not all workers' comp.
That's a non-workers comp.
Yes, that's not, that was one
General
of the.
liabilities.
That was,
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
yeah.
It's like
that
somebody
was-
got carpal tunnel from typing too much or something.
No, that's one of the 5 non-workers' comp incidents that had to be paid. So, all right. So, no other questions? All right. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on Bill number 2526.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volke.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Radvian.
Aye.
Ms. Ledbetter.
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 2526 is passed.
All right. Madam Secretary, please read the titles of Bill number 1726 as amended and Bill number 1826 as amended.
Bill number 1726, an ordinance concerning General Development Plan, Region 5 Plan, and Bill number 1826, an ordinance concerning Comprehensive Zoning, Region 5.
Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ethan Hunt for the administration. Joining me at the table, I have Kelly Kenny, our supervising county attorney, Christina Pompa, our deputy planning and zoning officer, Cindy Carrier, our planning administrator, and Mark Wildonger, our senior planner, all from the Office of Planning and Zoning. Bills 1726 and 1826 are the comprehensive rezoning and region plan adoption pieces of legislation for Region 5, which is the last of the 9 regions that we have comprehensively rezoned over the last 2.5 years. I know there's some amendments to discuss, so we'll get to those at the appropriate time, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Is there any, for council members, is there any objections to a joint public hearing on bills number 1726 and 1826, which are both related to Region 5? Any objections? Okay. Any discussion before we open the public hearing? Okay, we will now open the joint public hearing on Bill number 1726 and Bill number 1826. Madam Secretary, did we receive any testimony through the online testimony tool?
Yes, Madam Chair, we received 2 pieces for Bill number 1726 and 14 pieces for Bill number 1826, which were shared with the council, added to the record, and posted to the website.
Okay, we will now call on individuals who signed up ahead of the meeting. When I call your name, please come up to the table and have a seat. When it's your turn, state your name and address for the record. Remarks will be limited to 2 minutes. Please listen for the buzzer and respect the 2-minute time limit as others are signed up to speak. If you have more than 2 minutes to share, I'm going to ask you to submit your additional thoughts as early as tomorrow using our online testimony tool. Signed up ahead, we have Laura Murray, William Steffi, and Judith Wagner. And if there's anyone else who wishes to speak, you may also come up at this time.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
could I make a request to the folks testifying, or I'll ask you to make this
Yes.
request, to clearly state which property they are testifying about? Like if you could give the location or a familiar name or the address of the property so we know exactly which property you're referring to in your testimony.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Ravi, and that would be helpful. We have lots of properties in Region 5, so if you can let us know which one you're talking about, that will help us as we take notes.
Thank you
So,
very much.
Yes. So those are waiting. Y'all just have a seat, and when they're clear with the seats, we'll bring up the next group of people. Everyone will have a chance. Mr. Holman.
Good evening, Madam Chair and County Council members. My name is Jim Holman, and I reside at 1546 Meyer Station Road in Odenton, Maryland. I initially spoke at the County Council meeting on April 6th, where Bills 1726 and 1826 were introduced and to be voted on. Instead, the two bills were pushed back to April 20th. I attended the County Council meeting on April 20th in anticipation Bill 1726 and 1826 would be voted on. Again, the two bills were pushed to May 4th County Council meeting. This was signaling to me that there were going to be amendments introduced from council members on behalf of a developer. So here we are again tonight for a third round of voting on Bills 1726 and 1826. My wish is that these two bills will be voted on tonight without an amendment. Madam Chair, at one point you made public comments that the proposed additional 377 homes for Two Rivers development that were in addition to the 2,060 homes that were approved by the county was a done deal. You later clearly stated you inherited this mess with the developer and the large development. Being that this large development is in your district and the developer is still building in the development, correct me if I'm wrong, but you would be the only one that could add an amendment to this bill in support of the developer to have additional parcels upzoned to build more million-dollar homes. Madam Chair, don't let this mess continue to spiral out of control. Our community and residents of our area, including Two Rivers, strongly oppose letting this developer build any additional homes in our area. We are tired of the traffic. We don't need additional vehicles on our backcountry roads. We like the beauty of our community the way it is. Let's not wait until May 18th or June 1st to vote on this bill. Let's go by the recommendations of the Region 5 Advisory Committee in Planning and Zoning to keep our RA and open space and vote on this bill as it stands.
Thank you, Mr. Holman. Ms. Murray.
Laura Murray, Two Rivers. I am here to formally notify the county that I am preparing an application concerning St. John's AME Zion Baptist Church and its potential significance as an Underground Railroad site and an African-American historical resource. That application cannot be submitted until July 15th. So I'm placing this issue on record now before any irreversible decisions are made. Anne Arundel County Code is clear. Under Anne Arundel County Code, Article 17, developers are required to identify historic resources during the development review. And where there is known or high potential for archaeological resources, a Phase 1 survey is required. I want to be precise. The church is approximately 2.5 miles from this proposed development. This is not about proximity, it is about impact. Both the proposed 377 homes and access to the church rely on the same primary road. That road is already overburdened. Adding this level of development will significantly increase congestion and directly affect access to an area that may soon be recognized for its historical significance. Access is not a minor issue. For historical resources, especially one tied to the Underground Railroad, access routes and surrounding corridors are part of the cultural landscape. So my request is straightforward. Do not approve first and study later. Please defer approval or place binding conditions on the approval until the Office of Planning and Zoning and Cultural Resources determine whether this area has historical or archaeological potential. That must include any required Phase 1 archaeological survey, along with a traffic impact study and an emergency access. This request does not stop development. It ensures the county follows its own code, protects the public record, and avoids irreversible harm.
Thank you, Ms. Murray. Ms. Wagner.
My name is Judy. Thank you. Okay, start me now. My name is Judy Wagner. I live at 1210 Beaver Tree Drive, Two Rivers, Odenton. I testified on April 6 in favor of the provision CZR5TR5005A/B in Bill 1826 that rezones Parcel O from R2 to open space in the Two Rivers PUD. I made 3 points then, and I hope you'll consider them, but tonight I would like to speak further on just one of them. That point is that the PUD supersedes the underlying zoning of the land, and that the AA government does have the legal authority to reconcile the zoning map with the actual current use as approved under the Two Rivers PUD. There have been suggestions that a person does not have a right to request rezoning of another person's property without the owner's consent, and that makes sense. However, this is not that kind of case. It is not a neighbor or another resident, but the county executive who is proposing the rezoning under a comprehensive rezoning bill. Based on the information I've been given and in consultation with others, it appears to me that the county does have legal authority to reconcile the zoning map with the actual current PUD use, especially in the context of a comprehensive rezoning exercise. So I want to strongly urge the council to consult the county's Office of Law on the legality of the rezoning and the legal reasoning behind their proposal, and to do it even before an amendment is offered to change it, so that you can be fully informed about the legalities of such a rezoning at the time of the vote. And thank you for letting me express my views.
Thank you, Ms. Wagner. Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm William Steffi. I'm at 2568 River Road. I'm here representing CZR5GAM0604, which is Aztec Electric. They're located at 697 Maryland Route 3 North, and they are on parcel 366. And all we're doing right now is trying to correct a mistake that was in the zoning, the consistency zoning. Don Ord is sitting next to me, and he's the owner of Colonial Electric, which operates a general office on the property. They bought the property back in 2001 and have been in operation since. Through the consistency rezoning, the planning had proposed a change from C2 to RLD on a portion of property about a half an acre, of which appeared to be actually on the Baldwin Ventures property. And as it turned out, there was a tax map mistake that relates back to a deed from the 1940s. We've submitted the correction to the GIS folks at Anne Arundel County. I am told that they've since corrected it. So all we're doing is trying to maintain the C2 zoning for the Aztec Properties LLC at 697 Maryland Route 3 on the parcel of 366, and not requesting any upzoning of any kind.
Thank you, Mr. Steffi. Yes, sir.
I'm with Aztec Properties, and in 2001, when we acquired this property, had no idea that there was these issues regarding the identification of our lot. And thanks to Bill here, he did figure this out when we saw the RLD coming out, and we've operated on the C2 properly all these years, and that's why we're here, is to try and keep our C2 zoned exactly how it's been since we bought it at that time. Thank you.
Sir, could you give your name and address, please?
Yes, I'm Donald, last name's Ord, O-R-D, 697 Maryland Route 3 North, Gambrels 21054.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Jan Randall. I live at 4024 Curl Dock Lane, Odenton. In a public meeting a few years ago, you, the county, acknowledged that the traffic peninsula created by the Two Rivers development was a mistake that is compounded by the county's financial limitations to correct this mistake in a timely manner. I, as a homeowner, signed a contract with the developers of Two Rivers As is true with any contract, promises are made by both parties. I was promised my home and open space in parcels N and O, and in return, I agreed to annual assessments to the county for infrastructure, to the developers for additional infrastructures, as well as a commitment to abide by the HOA regulations. Contracts are binding on both parties. If I do not abide by the HOA regulations or pay my assessment to you, the county, or to the developer, I will lose my home. The developer did provide my home to the specifications I requested. However, now the developer believes that he should not be held to the contract, that he is above the law and wants to develop parcels N and O. I believe that it is the county's responsibility to enforce the contract that I have with Two Rivers developers. Furthermore, the additional 377 homes are not contiguous to the development and will be an enigma in an area that is zoned rural agricultural, 1 dwelling per 20 acres. The addition of these homes will exacerbate the issues already created by you, the county, by adding additional cars to a state-designated Level 2 protected road, along which adjacent development should be designed to be compatible with the character of each neighborhood. In this case, that is rural. Therefore, 377 homes do not fit within the state's designation. Does the county not have to comply with state mandates?
Thank you, Ms. Randall. Thank you, everyone. And if other people who would like to speak, you may come up and fill the chairs at this time. You can begin.
Good evening. My name is Mark Ass, 1367 Meyer Station Road. Many years ago, Two Rivers Builders agreed to a covenant, a contract, to establish limits and protect our community. Our community agreed to this. They probably shouldn't have, but nonetheless, here we are. Since this was established, Two Rivers Builders made many, many promises. Golf courses, open space, 55 and over only communities, and set distances from our homes. They have violated every promise they made, and they violated the agreement with my community. This area is plagued with traffic that our county and state roads can't handle. We don't have enough police officers to keep the county safe. The size of the patrol areas haven't changed in many, many years, yet the population has rapidly expanded. We don't have enough firemen as they keep building homes on top of each other. Our schools are at capacity and can't handle the increased load. There are power outages due to the strains on the electrical grid. The wastewater plants are at capacity. I please ask you to do the right thing and oppose the amendments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gass. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Madam Chair and members of the council. My name is Sarah Matthews. I'm here with my husband and my son. We live at 2401 Queen Mitchell Road in Gambrels. We've lived there for over a decade with our 5 children. I'm here tonight in support of the amendment sponsored by the Councilwoman Ledbetter to rezone my property, 2401 Queen Mitchell, to C2 Commercial Office. My request to this council is straightforward. The council is being asked tonight to consider 2 properties on the same road, which is 2404, and then my property 2401 Queen Mitchell at the same time. We feel that whatever zoning the council grants for our neighbors, we respectfully just asking that the same designation be extended to us. We're currently on a mixed-use plat with some C2 and R5 zoning, and we would just want a uniformity. I want to speak to you honestly just about Queen Mitchell Road. It is a road that it used to be a very quiet residential street, but is now largely a commercial street where the Goddard School operates 2 facilities, and that's every weekday, where we have a lot of traffic that comes back and forth, parents that are coming in and out getting their kids. And we've never had any issues with our neighbors. We've definitely gotten along with them, but we personally have experienced multiple, issues just with near misses, and then our kids going up and down the road to get to the bus every day. The commercial transformation of Queen Mitchell Road it really has already happened. The zoning map should reflect the reality of what's going on in the street, and we're just asking that we get the same consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Matthews. Mr. Matthews, do you wish to speak? You're just supporting by.
Man, we just be quiet.
Let her talk.
I've learned
You're
that.
Smart man.
I've learned
Smart
that.
man. There you go. There you go. So, yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm Regis Phelan. I live on Grace Ford Road, and it's regarding the development for the developers of the Two Rivers. And as my neighbor said, pretty much everything they've told us is not true. It's turned out not to be true. And apparently the covenants, which seem to go with the land, all of a sudden don't go with the land, and they can just make up their rules as they go along. That level of dishonesty and past behavior is clearly an indicator of what they're going to do in the future. So I have no trust or confidence that they're going to do what's right for the community. People have to live somewhere, and we have to build at some point eventually, but the overbuilding is really outrageous. If you've been in that community during rush hour, you understand what I'm talking about. There's people pouring out of roads that are designated strictly emergency roads. They're 2-lane roads, they're 30-mile-an-hour roads, but again, you start shoving a lot of traffic into those roads, and it really changes the entire dynamic of the community. Don't begrudge people a chance to live places, but the ongoing dishonesty from the developer certainly doesn't warrant any future consideration for them to continue to build, change the rules as they see fit. Quite frankly, 3 things are at play here. They don't care, we don't matter, and there's no consequences. If those 3 things are true, they're going to just keep going the direction they're going, and the community is going to suffer for no reason. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Manisha Parekh, owner and operator of the Goddard School located at 2404 Queen Mitchell Road. We're requesting half of a lot has been zoned as residential, and half we're requesting it be zoned at C2. I've been working with children. They are my passion for the last 30 years. I'm honored to serve the community in the Crofton-Cambrills area for the last 15 years. I know how much our growing community needs certain services, and I would love to support our young population. My school has been a pillar of excellence in our community. We have graduated thousands of children, and they come back to tell their lovely stories of how they're thriving. Our school has been around for 15 years. We have state-of-the-art facility. Our school has had STEM-based playground and indoor gym, very unique things that we've offered to the community. Our school excels 5 rating and has MSD accreditation and is good standing with the franchise as well. We'll be here for years to come, and we need to support and continue the growth of our community. And I would love to again request that the lot that is for residential be considered for C2 zoning, so we could continue providing services to our young population.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.
My name is Mehul Parekh. I jointly own the 2404 Queen Mitchell Road lot property with my wife. I'm going to take a cue from Mr. Matthews to be as quiet as possible for the remainder, but I will say that thank you, Councilwoman Ledbetter, for your support throughout this process. I will add, though, that this month marks our 30th wedding anniversary, and half that time, almost exactly 15 years, had been spent running this Goddard School. My wife has a passion for this, and we've been in that community for a long time. This will really allow, as Ms. Matthews mentioned, allow us to really support the community in ways that we currently cannot because of the split zoning. If we are able to achieve the C2 zoning for the entire lot, we'll be able to allow growth in the community and support the growth and be aligned with that growth and supporting children's services and so on. Also wanted to add that we have coordinated this change with the immediate entire community. We have sent letters out to the community. We've actually reached out to the community, and we've asked for feedback. And we have not received any opposition to date from any of those members. We sent out letters to the homes around us. businesses and so on. And we've been fairly supported throughout this entire process. Absolutely no negativity so far about our requests, and our support has been fantastic by the entire Goddard School community, as well as the Queen Mitchell Road and the surrounding communities.
Thank you, sir. So, thank you all. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on bills number 1726 or 1826? Yes, sir.
575 Graceford Road in Odenton, Maryland. My wife and I own a 6th-generation, 100-acre active farm at the end of Graceford Road. Years ago, we realized that the city was coming, and with the help of the county, we put our farm into a farm preserve. Little did we know that when the city came, they make the rules. They break the rules. They disrespect our way of life, and they can't even acknowledge the covenants that runs with the land. So not even in my wildest dreams would I ever think the day would come that the county would even consider such a ludicrous proposal. So I need a favor. I need a couple favors. I need you to jump in your car and come down Route 3 South. Doesn't have to be at rush hour. Anytime you please, come on down. Take a look at the impact that this project has made. Take a look at the potential list of violations. And then I don't want you to stop there. I want you to continue on Myers Station to where it butts right into Graceford, hang a sharp right, go to the top of the hill, get out of your car, and look over this vast, beautiful green area that is oh so close to the river. And when you're ready, jump back in your car, head back to Route 3. And at this time, it won't matter if you're heading east, west, north, or south. Enjoy your stay on Route 3, because that's what it's going to be. And when you eventually get home, I want you to ask yourself 2 questions. Who in the right mind can justify 100, 200, 300, whatever the magic number is, houses in this part of the county? And the second question is, why does our part of the county have to look like North County? I thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Karen Egloff. I'm here on behalf of my family who owns property at 876 Maple Road. And Ms. Fiedler was kind enough to introduce amendment number 6 to keep our property as C1. The comprehensive rezoning had asked that our split zone property be turned into RLD, and instead we're asking for it to remain what it is, C1. It looks here like it's a new introduction, but it's not exactly like that because we already had C1 in the front of the property. If you look at the map, according to this Amendment 6, it shows C1 is directly abutted to our property. We have C3 to the back of the property. We have C1 catty corner and across the way, and also some rural agriculture. So it's a lot of different zones altogether, but we are looking to keep the zoning that was already on the property and was determined to be downzoned by this new rezoning, comprehensive rezoning. So we're just asking that the property keep its same zone of C1 and not be downzoned. And so I believe I'm in favor of this amendment number 6 is the idea here. I just was a little confused by how it was described. But anyway, our family has owned the land through different descendants for over 100 years. So we're not new residents, and it is a mix of uses there. So while we have no plans to turn it into commercial at this time, I'm planning for the future. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Eckloff. Yes, ma'am. We've got you. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so I'm speaking on behalf of resident. First of all, my name is Brenda Fernandez. I live in 2422 Sunshine Way. Apologize. I am speaking on behalf of the rezoning for the property of 2419 Blooming Way. I testified on April 20th, supporting on behalf of our whole residents of Sunshine Way, Blooming Way, and the areas surrounding that property, that we support the OPZ's and the PAB's recommendation for an R1. But now I'm speaking on my own behalf, and I wanted to speak on regards to the documentation that Ms. Patricia Shunny has submitted on April 6th, saying that she had a feasibility report done in 2007 that allows for 6 other properties to be built on her land. I do want to emphasize that that feasibility report does not speak on behalf of the viability or uncovers the potential risk and issues, because it does not cover the land, the outlet in and out of that property. It only has one area that is not property of that owner. So that only outlets and inward of the property is owned by someone else. So that is not part of the feasibility report, which is why I'm requesting that if they are going to consider anything higher than an R1, that a survey land be done for an atlas, or a survey is done to review everything surrounding that property. So that way all of those potential issues regarding how big of the property is to go in and out that area, where it only allows for one car lane length of or the car width of a distance to be able to come in and out if multiple residences are going to be put into that land. So that does, again, create a high risk, and it's a vulnerability for, as my neighbor had previously testified, when there was a fire in that area, just to get the fire department and the ambulance to get into it, was we actually had to clear the road to get it, allow it to go in.
Thank you, Ms. Fernandez. Thank you. Is there anyone else here who wishes to speak on bills number 1726 or 1826? Okay, seeing no movement, the joint hearing on bills number 1726 and 1826 is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of bill number 1726 as amended and 1826 as amended.
Bill number 1726, an ordinance concerning General Development Plan, Region 5 Plan, and Bill number 1826, an ordinance concerning Comprehensive Zoning, Region 5.
Okay, any other discussion before we move forward with amendments? Okay, there's going to be some back and forth between the bills in order to keep new amendments about the same properties together. There are 6 amendments to bill number 1726 and 6 amendments to bill number 1826. Madam Secretary, for the upcoming amendments requiring signs for at least 10 days before this legislative session, were signs posted on the subject property, and was notice of the proposed change of zoning posted to the County Council website?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. Madam Secretary, please read amendment number 3 to bill number 1726.
Amendment number 3 to bill number 1726. This amendment changes the planned land use for a portion of the property known as parcel 75, lot 2 on tax map 30, located at 876 Maple Road, Gambrels, from rural to commercial.
Ms. Fiedler, this is your amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We just heard testimony from the property owner. This amendment does just that for the land use portion. You can see that there is access to the residential section of the property from Gambrels Road, and the commercial section that is requested to be retained on Maple Road. I ask for support, and I move the amendment forward. Motion to adopt. Thank you.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? So, Ms. Fiedler, so the zoning recommendation in the plan was from OPZ, not from the owner of the property?
Correct. And this is actually the first amendment for me for Region 5, but in Region 4, the larger portion of District 5, there is a history not only in that district, but in other comprehensive areas that we've done. Whenever a land use owner has not requested a change in their zoning, we have historically honored retaining what the zoning was prior without the owner's approval.
And is there additional commercial around this area?
There is. Right across the street, there is commercial. There is also the corn maze that has a lot of commercial outdoor activity. And then Annapolis Road is very commercial.
Have that. Administration.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to turn it over to our OPZ team.
Mark Wildonger, Office of Planning and Zoning. So again, this is a property that's about 5.4 acres. It is currently split zone. The adopted zoning is C1 and RLD. The Office of Planning and Zoning, during our consistency analysis, recommended that the property go to all RLD because the planned land use was rural. And so again, to maintain that one zoning district is applied to one property, that's why it got picked up in our consistency zoning analysis. The property owner did submit an application during the Planning Advisory Board phase for mixed use neighborhood. I think that was just maybe a misunderstanding that the property owner just wanted to maintain a commercial and a residential, not necessarily requesting one of our mixed use zoning districts. The Planning Advisory Board recommended RLD, and again, because this was during the Planning Advisory Board phase, the SAC did not have an opportunity to review the application. So again, is because it was the RLD is consistent with our planned land use map from Plan 2040, the existing residential use on the property, and the remaining RLD zoning on the property. It was the goal of this from Office Planning and Zoning was just to maintain one zoning district per the property. But Office Planning and Zoning does not object to this amendment.
Is there any other discussion? Mr. Volke?
Just to be clear, so this is a down zone that Planning and Zoning recommended, but the amendment will retain the current zoning, the current split zone.
The amendment will maintain the current adopted zoning.
Copy. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Rodbian?
Thank you. I'm curious if you happen to know the history of how this parcel, I mean, as you noted, and I'm looking at the map, everything surrounding it is indeed rural. How did it end up this little island of commercial? I mean, in lowest intensity commercial, but still commercial.
Right. It could have been a mistake from any parcel boundary shift going to the digital layer.
Christina Pompa with the Office of Planning and Zoning. It also could be because of its position at an intersection. We don't know the history.
No further comments? Ms. Fiedler? Okay. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment number 3 to bill number 1726.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
Mr. Volke?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian?
Aye.
Ms. Ledbetter?
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer?
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment number 3 to bill number 1726 has been adopted.
Madam Secretary, please read amendment number 6 to bill number 1826.
Amendment number 6 to bill number 1826. This amendment changes the zoning of the property known as parcel 75, lot 2 on tax map 30, located at 876 Maple Road, Gambrels, from RLD residential low density to C1 local commercial.
Ms. Fiedler?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is the companion amendment to the previously passed amendment. Again, we have a long history of not accepting changes to zoning on properties where the property owner has not requested it. I motion to adopt.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Mr. Hunt?
Same comments as before.
Okay. All right, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment number 6 to bill number 1826.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
Mr. Volke?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian?
Aye.
Ms. Ledbetter?
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer?
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment number 6 to bill number 1826 has been adopted.
Okay, Madam Secretary, please read amendment number 4 to bill 1726.
Amendment number 4 to bill number 1726. This amendment changes the planned land use for the property known as parcels 2 and 245 on tax map 37 located at 814 Maryland Route 3 South Lane and no number Maryland Route 3 South Lane, Gambrels, from mixed use to commercial and eliminates the development policy area overlay of mixed use for the same properties.
Ms. Fiedler, this is your amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The property owner started working on the mixed-use application in advance of comprehensive rezoning, and over the years have since decided not to move forward with mixed use on this property. We, as a council, passed mixed-use legislation that changes the percentages of certain kind of uses that are required to be on a property, and that doesn't really work for what the property owner wants to do in the future. So they are requesting what I would consider almost a downzoning to commercial. And this is the land use amendment for that. Motion to adopt.
Any discussion? Mr. Hunt?
I'm going to turn it over to OPZ.
Mark Woolanger, Office of Planning and Zoning. So the subject property is 21 acres. Bear with me here. There is a larger there are 3 parcels in total. The larger property with the Nighthawk golf facility, a small triangular piece to the north, and across Maryland 3 South in the median is another piece of this puzzle. So again, 21 acres total. It is currently split zoned, again, because we have a median parcel, split zoned R1, C2, and C4. It's located within the critical corridor because it is along Maryland 3. The site is designated as mixed use and commercial plan land use per Plan 2040. And the parcel is again improved with a golf facility on the western side and a contractor's facility in the median. The applicant is now requesting to maintain the C4 zoning in the median and C3 zoning on the western portion of the property. So again, the property owner submitted the zoning application during the initial application phase for MXDN or MXDS to allow for a mix of uses. The SAC and the PAB recommended MXDN at the time. Like it was said, throughout the process, OPZ has recommended to rezone the property to MXDN to encourage the mix of uses. However, OPZ acknowledges that the property owner is now interested in battery energy storage system use on the site, which would be subject to the recent legislation, Bill 9-26, that was recently adopted. OPZ does not object to this amendment.
Is there any further discussion or questions? Ms. Rodvian?
Thank you. I'm just curious if you could explain a little bit the consequence of removing the overlay.
Yeah, so this is, I think, probably our first one where we're doing all the trifecta of changes. So our policy had been where if there had been proposed mixed-use zoning in an area that was not one of our targeted growth areas, we would apply the mixed-use overlay to ensure that it is then designated as a targeted growth area. So because we're now sort of downshifting a little bit down to commercial, it does not fall into that policy of needing that mixed-use development policy area overlay. If that makes sense.
All right. Any other questions? All right, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment number 4 to bill number 1726.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
Mr. Volkey?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian?
Aye.
Ms. Ledbetter?
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer?
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment number 4 to bill number 1726 has been adopted.
Madam Secretary, please read amendment number 7 to bill number 1826.
Amendment number 7 to bill number 1826. This amendment changes the zoning of a portion of the property known as Parcel 2 on Tax Map 37 and the property known as Parcel 245 on Tax Map 37 located at 814 Maryland Route 3 South Lane and no number Maryland Route 3 South Lane, Gambrels, from MXDN Neighborhood Mixed Use to C3 General Commercial and a portion of the property known as Parcel 2 on Tax Map 37 located at 814 Maryland Route 3 South Lane, Gambrels, from MXDN Neighborhood Mixed Use to C4 Highway Commercial.
Ms. Fiedler?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is the companion amendment to the previously passed amendment. Motion to adopt.
Okay. Any discussion? Administration?
Same comments as before.
Okay. All right, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment number 7 to bill number 1826.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
Mr. Volkey?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian?
Aye.
Ms. Ledbetter?
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer?
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment number 7 to bill number 1826 has been adopted.
Madam Secretary, please read amendment number 5 to bill number 1726.
Amendment number 5 to bill number 1726. This amendment changes the planned land use for a portion of the property known as Parcel 336 on Tax Map 30 located at 697 Maryland Route 3 North Lane, Gambrels, from rural to commercial.
This is my amendment. This is parcel we heard in public testimony that this was actually an error on the maps, and when they did a title search back, they found the error was made on the title back in the 1940s. And so this is just a correction to the maps. It came up as a consistency change for OPZ, but we just want to put it back to the established zoning that it's been used for the past 50 years. So I have a motion to adopt.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Mr. Hunt?
We always like correcting errors. We're supportive of this amendment.
There we go. So any further discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment number 5 to bill number 1726.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard? Aye. Mr. Volkey?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Radvian?
Aye.
Ms. Ledbetter?
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer?
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment number 5 to bill number 1726 has been adopted.
Madam Secretary, please read amendment number 8 to bill number 1826.
Amendment number 8 to bill number 1826. This amendment changes the zoning of a portion of the property known as parcel 336 on tax map 30, located at 697 Maryland Route 3 North Lane, Gambrills, from RLD residential low density to C2 commercial office.
This is just the companion amendment to the previous one. May I have a motion to adopt?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Administration?
We support.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment number 8 to bill number 1826.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
Mr. Volkey?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Radvian?
Aye.
Ms. Ledbetter?
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer?
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment number 8 to bill number 1826 has been adopted.
Madam Secretary, please read amendment number 6 to bill number 1726.
Amendment number 6 to bill number 1726. This amendment changes the planned land use for a portion of the property known as parcel 212 on tax map 36 located at 2404 Queen Mitchell Road, Gambrills, from low-medium residential to commercial.
Ms. Ledbetter, this is your amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Council heard from the owners during public testimony earlier. This particular property is the one that has the Goddard Daycare operating on about half of it. The other half, it is currently split zoned to R5. One of the concerns that was raised when they've submitted their application was making sure that the property owners that are behind them are aware that this is going, that this application has gone in, because where the signs were posted, the folks who live behind wouldn't necessarily have a reason to drive down Queen Mitchell Road on a daily basis and see those signs. So the owners, of their own effort and expense, made the effort to send letters. They took pictures of the sign, included a photo of the sign. They sent proof of that to me via email. I did ask Madam Secretary to share that with all of you, so you should have received that. So that it would give those folks who live behind this property an opportunity to have their voice heard, should they choose to do so. To my knowledge, I did not see any public testimony about this property come in. I did not receive anything in writing or via phone call, to my knowledge, from neighbors one way or another, honestly, about this property. But they have been notified, which is, I know, the intent of the signs. And so I do commend the owners for taking the extra step to kind of take that intent one step further. My reasoning, my justification, and the reason why I support this amendment really comes down to it's a combination of both the feedback from the owners of this particular parcel and the owners who live across the street, whose amendment we will hear shortly. And it's the nature of Queen Mitchell Road and how it has changed over the years. This is a commercial corridor. There are people, I have been, honestly, before this amendment even was introduced, I have been one of those people who I missed my turn trying to turn into a business, and I turned onto Queen Mitchell Road to flip a quick Yui so that I could get back out and go where I needed to go. I look at this and I ask, reasonably speaking, is this where R5 makes sense, the way Route 3 has developed in this corridor? And I don't think necessarily. So, this is a spot where, does R5 make sense, align with a property owner asking for a change? And I think that's a good reason to support this amendment. So motion to adopt.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? All right, administration?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to turn it over to the Office of Planning and Zoning.
Office Planning and Zoning does not object to this amendment.
Okay. Any further discussion? All right. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment number 6 to bill number 1726.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard? Aye. Mr. Volkey?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian?
Aye.
Ms. Ledbetter?
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer?
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment number 6 to Bill number 1726 has been adopted.
Madam Secretary, please read Amendment number 9 to Bill number 1826.
Amendment number 9 to Bill number 1826. This amendment changes the zoning of a portion of the property known as Parcel 212, Lot 1, on Tax Map 36, located at 2404 Queen Mitchell Road, Gambrels, from R5 Residential to C2 Commercial Office.
Ms. Ledbetter?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is the corresponding amendment to the previous motion to adopt.
Any discussion? Administration?
Same comments as before.
Okay. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on Amendment number 9 to Bill number 1826.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
Mr. Volkey?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian?
Aye.
Ms. Ledbetter?
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer?
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment number 9 to Bill number 1826 has been adopted.
Madam Secretary, please read Amendment number 7 to Bill number 1726.
Amendment number 7 to Bill number 1726. This amendment changes the planned land use for the property known as Parcel 10 on Tax Map 42, located at no number Myers Station Road, Odenton, from rural to residential low density, and changes the development policy area for a portion of the property from rural and agricultural to neighborhood preservation.
Okay, this is my amendment. This is a parcel of approximately 130 acres on Myers Station Road that is a mix of open space and rural at this time. The owners have asked that a small portion be redesignated as R1, and then the rest of it would be made open space that they would eventually place into conservation. So it would add about 100 acres of conservation land. This parcel is not on public water and sewer, so it is limited at the maximum amount. It would be able to be 5 houses to have that, and so there's a possibility to have a small cluster of homes with 100 acres placed into conservation. And there is also no intent to develop this right away. This is a long-term as part of comprehensive rezoning, since zoning does not come up for 10 years to give those options to have that. But I am supporting this amendment to preserve some of this land and, to have that 100 acres be conserved forever. And so I make a motion to adopt.
Rodvian, second.
Okay. Any discussion? Ms. Rodvian? No. Okay. Administration?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to turn it over to the Office of Planning and Zoning.
So again, this property is located at the intersection of Myers Station Road and Grays Ford Road in Odenton. The majority of the property is on the east side of Grays Ford Road, but there is, again, that 16-acre property on the west side that's north of Myers Station Road. The entire property is currently split zoned R2, RA, and OS, and is located within the neighborhood preservation and rural and agricultural development policy areas. The site is designated as rural plan land use on the Plan 2040 plan land use map. The northwest portion of the property zoned R2 is improved with a single family dwelling. So this amendment is requesting a change in the development policy area for the larger parcel to the southeast, a planned land use for both the the square parcel at the northwest intersection of Myers Station Road, as well as then that larger parcel to the southeast, as well as changing a portion of the zoning on the larger portion from RA to R1, which is approximately 27 acres for just that zoning change. The property owner submitted a zoning application during the preliminary draft review phase to rezone the entire eastern side of Myers Station Road to RLD. At that time, the SAC recommended maintaining the existing split zoning of R2, RA, and OS. During the PAB Planning Advisory Board phase, the applicant adjusted their request to rezone just the RA portion of the eastern parcel to R1. The PAB recommended to maintain the existing split zoning of R2, RA, and OS. OPZ objects to the amendment and agrees with the SAC and PAB recommendation to maintain the existing zoning in order to preserve the rural character. We've heard from the community that there are significant traffic issues and flooding which would be exacerbated by additional homes. This position is supported by Plan 2040's goals to preserve sensitive areas, retain existing forest cover, and to expand, enhance, and continue to protect the county's greenways and open space. A change to R1 zoning is not consistent with the Plan 2040 goal to improve and protect water quality by reducing impacts from stormwater runoff, wastewater discharge, and septic systems.
All right, is there any further discussion? Any questions? Mr. Wolke?
Thank you. So, this isn't my district, so I need a little education, right? 16 acres that is currently zoned R2, is that part of the Two Rivers development?
Neither parcel is part of it.
Okay. So, it sounded like there were some people, at least at other meetings, and I think tonight, who are from the Two Rivers community, who are feeling like this is violating something with respect to what the developer said they would do or not do. Can you guys walk me through that? Is that a different amendment?
It's not.
It's a different one?
What they are referring to are Two Rivers planned unit development.
Okay.
This amendment is not related to, or is only related by proximity to that covenant and that PUD.
So is there a different amendment that we're going to deal with that is more on point with that, or?
This is a separate parcel, separate issue. This is not the ones that have been discussed. This is separate. This is not part of Two Rivers.
Got you.
Yes.
Okay. So is there a different amendment that's for that we're going to hear about
Not
too?
tonight.
Not tonight. Got you. Okay. All right. So this is just these two parcels, and this one that's 16 acres is next to Two Rivers?
Correct.
Okay, because like all these streets look like Two Rivers to me, but I'm just trying to make sure I'm
Correct.
following the map. All right, so that's the 16-acre parcel. Then across the street on Gray's Ford is where there is the much larger parcel that's currently split zoned between RA and open space?
Correct.
All right. And you all are opposed to rezoning that at all?
Correct. The R2 on the 16 acre maintained.
You're fine with that?
Fine with that.
Okay.
Because that is the existing zoning. Okay,
Right.
comfortable with that.
Right.
And then on the larger parcel, again, comfortable with maintaining the existing zoning of RA and OS.
Yeah, and I mean, with the existing zoning, I don't think you can do anything with that property. Is that fair? What could you do?
You could, since I believe it's 27 acres, that's
put one
RA,
house.
you could do one house.
Got it. And the amendment is going to change all of it to what?
The RA portion to R1, 27 acres.
To R1.
Correct.
What about the OS portion?
That would be maintained as OS.
Under the amendment?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. And the 16 acres would stay as is?
Correct.
Still in R2?
Staying the same for R2, but there is an amendment that does capture that 16 acre parcel for the planned land use to go from rural to low density residential in the amendment.
Okay. So what did PAB and SAC do?
Recommended to maintain the existing zoning, the adopted zoning.
All right. Give me a second. I got to keep looking.
Mr. Volpe?
Yeah.
It may be helpful.
That's a good phone a friend. Come on, Miss Pompa, help me out.
It may be helpful for you to look, there are multiple maps on this property, but to go to the zoning amendment and look at that map. Because that really shows the area where the zoning would change. I'm sorry.
It's
that would be
Amendment 10 to 1826.
The next amendment in your packet.
I see. So this is the one that simply shows the RA to R1 change, keeping the OS on the majority of the property and keeping R2. So all you're really changing is the land use, not the zoning. There's a minor zoning change, but a larger land use change. Is that a fair way to put it, or would you put it differently?
We don't necessarily agree with the word minor.
Okay, fair. I understand. I've been in those conversations with you before.
Ms. Rodvian?
I was wondering, okay, so I'm looking more at the zoning too, because I think we all know that when the rubber hits the road, that's the one that really matters. This is, of course, important to be consistent, but this is the one that's, going to make the biggest difference for the property owners and the neighbors altogether. So could you state again the size of the two different pieces of the western parcel, the larger parcel? It's broken down into two pieces, the one that would go from RA to R1, and then the one that would go from RA to OS? Or is that currently OS?
It's currently OS. The portion, making sure that we're on the same page about which parcel we're talking about. It's the larger southeastern parcel.
That looks like Pennsylvania?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And then you're asking if the eastern portion is currently zoned OS and will stay as OS?
The eastern part, the part that's, got the red hatch marks, right? That one is currently RA. But this is currently OS.
Correct.
So this divide the divide already exists, like the split zoning already exists.
It is currently split zone.
Okay.
Correct.
And the OS would basically prevent any residential development as well as the conservation easement. The conservation easement, I guess, is separate. We've been told that there will be a conservation easement on the OS part.
Technically, with the open space zoning, residential is not permitted, so it essentially is conserved. But if, I have not been party of any conversation related to whether there could be some future additional conservation easement put on the property.
So what's the size of the red hatched part, the part that's along Grace Ford Road? And I'm sorry if you, 27, and then the larger pieces again, I'm sorry, we're jumping around a lot.
The balance of the property would be about 93.
Because there's 16 acres on the west side that's R2.
Oh, I see. So 16 of the 93 is the R2?
No, 16 of the 134 acres.
Okay. So we've got the sort of trapezoidal piece on the eastern side is 16 acres. The red hatch piece is 27 acres, and then the remaining OS piece is 93?
Correct.
Okay, got it now. And so currently on the red hatched parcel, it would be allowed one home. The change would allow it to go up to 27, but it's not on sewer. So we're talking 20, what is it, 20, it's basically is it an acre? I forgot, I'm sorry, I used to know this.
Feasibly, right, 1 unit per 1 acre for R1 zoning district.
But that's assuming.
There are environmental constraints. There are steep slopes and wet areas on the property. The applicant has indicated that they could build a maximum of 9 homes using a cluster subdivision under R1.
But is there a reason that I've heard 5 or 6?
When I spoke to about the septic area and the tier that it's in, they said the maximum would be 5.
And that information came from?
That came from some of my discussions with planning and zoning.
Okay, so,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So the maximum, given all of the constraints of
It would have to be studied. This is there are significant, topographical areas around this as well, but also there is a limit with septic on how many, in certain tiers of how many homes could be built in an area.
May I add to that?
Yes.
Hi, Cindy Carrier, Office of Planning and Zoning. In today's situation, correct, they are limited by septic systems. There is nothing that says they can't come in for a water sewer master plan amendment, requesting to go to plan service. This is close to a plan service area with 2 rivers nearby, as well as if they were to obtain that approval, then they could also then change the growth tier.
Mr. Volkey.
Yeah, that's more my concern. I mean, you've got the entire Route 3 corridor. They can come through the back to get into that. They've got two rivers across the street with the 16-acre parcel that's simply coming across the road. So I hear right now, based on where it is, that it's, very minimal development. And if we could guarantee that, I think I could be fully supportive of this. But my concern is what could happen, and I don't know. I mean, do we have any sense of if the water sewer master plan was changed, what the development capacity would be for the property, even with like the steep slopes? I mean, because it is wooded, so it looks like it's entirely wooded.
They would be limited by the maximum density of the zone.
What's that, 1 per acre? So 27 at max, if they could get it. Yeah, minus 40. Yeah, minus everything. Okay.
Ms. Ledbetter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. When you were introducing the amendment, I thought I heard you say something about putting 100, maybe I'm not sure the right number, but a number of acres into agricultural preservation. Can you speak just a little bit what parcel that is, and is that an if this then that type of situation?
Yes, the 93 acres that is open space, which is protected now. In speaking to the owners of this property, their plan is to put that 93 acres and add additional conservation onto that so that it would not be built on. So it would not be, it couldn't be, and now is open space, but to do additional conservation to
further protect
to
it.
further protect it and the green corridor along there.
Thank you.
May I add something else?
Yes.
If you were to not approve the development policy area change to the neighborhood preservation, and it would stay rural, it would not be consistent with the land use and zoning, but it would, the property owner, if they did come forward with a master plan amendment for public sewer, would be denied by the state. They would find it inconsistent. They would find the rural development policy area inconsistent with our master plan.
So we could change the zoning on it, but not the, wait, I'm going to get my terms
That's right.
right.
You got that.
we could do the First Amendment, but not the Second.
No.
Is that correct? And then that would allow it that they, or vice versa.
Leave it as rural in land use, and
Ru-
that would sort of provide a block in state law for expanding
the
water and sewer.
I mean, it would leave it on septic. I can't tell you at this point whether or not they could still get 27 units. I mean, it would be governed by the density of R1.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
If the plan of this amendment is to take just this portion into R1, why would we do an amendment to change all of the OS all the way into neighborhood preservation? Why wouldn't we just do the land use change for the portion we're changing the zoning on?
Because it would be inconsistent with, the plan land use would not be consistent. The open space zone would not be consistent. If we were to change that portion to conservation or park and open space, it does not meet those definitions at this time.
The open space?
I mean, you could leave it rural, if you left it rural.
Left the open space
yeah.
rural.
You left it
Why
rural.
would we move all of it to neighborhood preservation if we're leaving 96 acres open space?
Rural is also not consistent with open space zoning. The rural plan land use. What we've done in the past when we've split zone properties, we have consistently throughout the 9 regions, we have left the plan land use.
So all of this open space?
When it was open space. we
All
had
of this
left
open
it,
space
yeah.
is in neighborhood preservation? As a land use designation?
Why wouldn't we have done that before? Since a portion of this is R2, that doesn't seem consistent with what it was as listed as rural. But we had that as it's currently as a rural designation. So why would this change, why wouldn't the R2 have changed that to neighborhood preservation?
Yeah, so if the question is why the neighborhood preservation development policy area was applied for the R2 property to the northwest and not for the Pennsylvania-shaped property, likely because we were not aware that it was owned by the same property owner.
So that was inconsistent, that's inconsistent as it stands right now, correct? Okay. Ms. Rodbian.
I wanted to ask maybe the sponsor, but also maybe get the opinion of OPZ. I am getting the impression from my colleagues that there is probably more comfort if there were some assurance that this could only, this would only result in 5 or 6 houses as opposed to 27. That's kind of my reading, and I don't know if OPZ feels better about that, but I'm curious if there's a reason why instead of going to R1, couldn't suggest RLD, and that would, for the 27 acres, that would limit it to 5.
Well, excuse me, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I don't know where we're headed with this amendment, but if you were to do RLD, you need 5 contiguous acres. And I think there's a lot of environmental constraints on this property where you're only going to have maybe, let's say, 5 acres that are developable in a developable envelope that you would need R1 to put 5 houses on. Do you follow me? I get that.
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't know where I am yet, but.
Mr. Volkey.
Thank you. I like Ms. Carrier's suggestion. Vote down the land use, change the zoning. Go with that. The record's pretty clear. We all thought about this and did it this way. It'd be hard for somebody to argue it's a mistake. So good luck. That's what I think you do. I like it. It's creative. Thank you.
But we know that OPZ does not like inconsistency, so.
Well, whatever.
There has been some over the course of the 9 regions.
So, so now to clarify, so so that would be from what Mr. Volkey is suggesting. That would be amendment number 7 is the one that changed just the land use, and amendment 10 is the one that changes the zoning. So, well, does anyone else have any thoughts? If there's no one that's really pushing for 7, I will withdraw 7. Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Might it be clearer if we actually take a vote on 7 and clearly vote it down?
Okay.
I mean, just for the clarity in the record.
We can do that. So,
Madam Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a very quick question. There is a tiny little sliver at the top of this hashed section. Do we have any idea how big that is, if it's even developable?
It doesn't look like it.
It's hard to try to overlay it with what I'm looking at on my computer. It doesn't look like it amounts to much, but I just want to confirm. Yeah. Yeah, this little.
No, there's no road there. That's just a boundary line, but there's not a road.
If you don't know, it is entirely fine. Sometimes we look at these maps and what looks insignificant is actually like 15 acres. So I just want to understand because it's, yeah, scale, thank you.
Less than 2 acres.
Okay.
It's, the way we have it mapped is it's also picking up the right-of-way of Grays Ford Road and Meyer Station Road. But if we're assuming 16.7 acres for the square parcel to the northwest, and this is telling me the entire R2 area is 17.7, so it may actually probably less than 1 acre.
Okay, thank you.
It's a little bit. Okay, so where are we on my list? Madam Secretary, please call the roll on Amendment Number 7 to Bill Number 1726.
Mr. Smith?
No.
Ms. Pickard?
Nay.
Mr. Volkey?
Nay.
Ms. Fiedler?
Nay.
Ms. Radvian?
Nay.
Ms. Ledbetter?
Nay.
And Ms. Hummer?
Nay.
0 in the affirmative, 7 in the negative. Amendment Number 7 to Bill Number 1726 has been defeated.
Okay. Madam Secretary, please read Amendment Number 10 to Bill Number 1826.
Amendment Number 10 to Bill Number 1826. This amendment changes a portion of the property known as Parcel 10 on Tax Map 42, located at No. Number Meyer Station Road, Odenton, from RA Rural Agricultural to R1 Residential.
Okay, this is what we just talked about. We voted down to change the land use designation, so it will remain rural, which means that it will not be open to public water and sewer, but this would change that designated portion from RA Agriculture to R1 Residential. May I have a motion to adopt?
Second.
Any discussion? Administration?
Same comments as before.
Okay. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on Amendment Number 10 to Bill.
Madam Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
Just for
Yes,
well,
sir.
point of clarity, does same comments before mean you support or do not support the amendment?
So again, in regards to the zoning, we do still object to an R1 zoning district.
All right. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on Amendment Number 10 to Bill Number 1826.
Mr. Smith?
Nay.
Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
Mr. Volkey?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Radvian?
Aye.
Ms. Ledbetter?
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer?
Aye.
6 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative. Amendment Number 10 to Bill Number 1826 has been adopted.
Madam Secretary, please read Amendment Number 8 to Bill Number 1726.
Amendment Number 8 to Bill Number 1726. This amendment changes the planned land use for the property known as Parcel 212, Lot 3, on Tax Map 36, located at 2401 Queen Mitchell Road, Gambrels, from low-medium density residential to commercial.
Ms. Ledbetter, this is your amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, you heard from the owners tonight, Mrs. Matthews, and we didn't hear quite as much from Mr. Matthews. But this property is currently split zoned, albeit it's just a little bit of a sliver that is currently C2. The rest is R5. The owners currently do occupy the property. As Ms. Matthews mentioned, they're raising 5 children. And Queen Mitchell Road, it's the same comments really that I had for my previous amendment. It has really changed over time. There's a lot of cars on the road. It's no longer a place that they feel like it makes sense to raise a family in a residentially zoned property. And so this is an opportunity to bring the owner's desired zoning into, honestly, into the character of what's already taking place on Queen Mitchell Road. I think what is interesting, Ms. Matthews mentioned it about her kids walking down Queen Mitchell to get to the house, is that the bus stop at this particular location is down at the intersection of Route 3 and Queen Mitchell, and there are no sidewalks. So kids would be walking down a road without sidewalks to get back there. So this would change the entire property to C2. Motion to adopt.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Mr. Volkey?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So looking at this map, just for a second, Ms. Ledbetter, we're the other side of the street, though it doesn't show it on the map for this amendment, we just rezoned to commercial, which is where the Goddard is on that side of the street. This is the other side of the street where the other part of the Goddard campus is. At the end of the street is this other parcel that looks like that's going to still be residential. Is that right?
Right. Those are the owners who would have been driving past the sign notifications for the past 10 days, and I have not heard.
Yeah, I'm more wondering. I'm assuming maybe they don't have kids or something, or they've not reached out to you as far as you know
They have
to say
not
we
reached
want
out.
to change our zoning.
Right.
Okay. All right. Got it.
Ms. Fiedler?
I was just There's a lot going on that property. I was just going to comment on the testimony we heard from the family this evening. Just looking at your property and its position with the commercial, you really are on an island. So I'm going to support this amendment tonight, and thank you for coming out and bringing your whole family. Well, most of your family.
So, all right. Administration?
I'm going to turn it over to the Office of Planning and Zoning.
Yeah, so given the property owner's request and adjacent now C2 zoning, OPZ does not object to this amendment.
Is there any other discussion? Ms. Fiedler?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. All right. Seeing no other discussion, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment number 8 to bill number 1726.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
Mr. Volkey?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Rodbian?
Aye.
Ms. Ledbetter?
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer?
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment number 8 to bill number 1726 has been adopted.
Madam Secretary, please read amendment number 11 to bill number 1826.
Amendment number 11 to bill number 1826. This amendment changes the zoning of the property known as parcel 212, lot 3 on tax map 36, located at 2401 Queen Mitchell Road, Gambrills, from R5 residential to C2 commercial office.
Ms. Ledbetter?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is the corresponding zoning amendment to the previous land use. Motion to adopt.
Is there any discussion? Administration?
Same comments as before.
Okay. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment number 11 to bill number 1826.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
Mr. Volkey?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Rodbian?
Aye.
Ms. Ledbetter?
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer?
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment number 11 to bill number 1826 has been adopted.
Bill number 1726 as amended and bill number 1826 as amended will be heard again on May 18th, 2026. Madam Secretary, please read the title of bill number 1926 as amended.
Bill number 1926, an ordinance concerning finance, taxation, and budget, real property taxes, credit for daycare centers for children and adults.
Ms. Rodbian, this is your bill.
Thank you. So this really is just to help support daycare businesses, childcare businesses, and adult daycare businesses in actually the whole state, but this particular bill would allow this tax credit in Anne Arundel County for up to $4,000 over, I forget what time period, we said 10 years? 10 years. I have a nice piece of testimony if my colleagues would like to hear it, or I could just feel like y'all are good and not read it into the record, but I think you probably read it. But obviously, I'll just summarize as quickly as possible. It's a tough time to run a childcare business. We're an expensive state, and this makes it a little bit easier. And it is actually cited in here is our Comptroller Learman's State of the Economy series, indicating the importance and the challenges facing the childcare industry. So I ask for your support.
Okay. Administration?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ethan Hunt for the administration. I have Lori Blair Klossmeyer, Deputy County Attorney, and Brian Schenk, our Financial Services Manager from the Office of Finance. We appreciate all the work that's been done on this bill. We support, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Any discussion? Ms. Schultz, could you please add my name as a co-sponsor, please?
Yes, Ms. Summer, thank you.
I'll jump on too.
Yep, ditto.
The more the merrier.
The more the merrier. So Mr. Volkey will. Mr. Smith, are you adding your name too?
Yes, ma'am.
So, anybody else want to jump in?
Who's missing? Is it the whole council?
You have not yet. Very good.
All right.
Thank you.
Is everybody now? It's just Ms. Ledbetter, peer pressure. So, all right. We will now open the public hearing on bill number 1926 as amended. Madam Secretary, did we receive any testimony through the online testimony tool?
Yes, Madam Chair, we received one piece which was shared with the council, added to the record, and posted to the website.
Madam We will now call on individuals who signed up ahead of the meeting. When I call your name, please come up to the table and have a seat. When it's your turn, state your name and address for the record. Remarks will be limited to 2 minutes. Please listen for the buzzer and respect the 2-minute time limit as others are signed up to speak. If you have more than 2 minutes to share, I'm going to ask you to submit your additional thoughts as early as tomorrow using our online testimony tool. We had one person sign up to speak, Christina Poosh. And if there's anyone else who wishes to speak on Bill 1926, you may come up at this time. So, seeing no movement, the public hearing on Bill number 1926 is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 1926 as amended.
Bill number 1926, an ordinance concerning finance, taxation, and budget real property taxes, credit for daycare centers for children and adults.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, Madam Secretary.
Chair,
Oh,
sorry.
yes.
I realized my mic wasn't on when I nodded my head. I just wanted to make sure that that was a yes.
Yes.
Noted. Thank you, Ms. Ledbetter.
Thank you.
All right, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on Bill number 1926 as amended.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian.
Aye.
Ms. Ledbetter.
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 1926 as amended has passed.
Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 2826.
Bill number 2826, an ordinance concerning zoning commercial districts apartment dwelling units.
Okay, Mr. Volkey, this is your bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a pretty minor change to the code. It allows as a permitted use something that is already a permitted use in C1, C2, and C3. It adds it to the C4 zoning district, and that is a dwelling unit apartment as an accessory use, provided the entrance is separate from the commercial use. I do want to say thank you to the Office of Planning and Zoning for their feedback. There was even a suggestion that maybe we just put this in with the Article 18 rewrite, but not knowing when that will come, I just decided to do this as a standalone piece of legislation. Ask for my colleagues' support.
Administration.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ethan Hunt for the administration. I have Kelly Kenny, our supervising county attorney, and Lynn Miller, our assistant planning and zoning officer. We are comfortable with this bill, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Ms. Ledbetter?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Volkey, if you just wouldn't mind indulging me a little bit, I am sure that you are sponsoring this legislation because you see that there are benefits to this. And I'm just, if you wouldn't mind elaborating a little bit, that would be awesome.
A non-developer business owner in my district reached out and said they have this situation, and they asked me if I could work to rectify it. And so I'm helping a business owner in my district with something in the land use code. I'm just pointing that out because that does happen.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
All right. So we will now open the public hearing on Bill number 2826. Madam Secretary, did we receive any testimony through the online testimony tool?
No, Madam Chair, we did not.
Okay, no one signed up ahead of time. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak on Bill number 2826? Seeing no movement, the public hearing on Bill number 2826 is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 2826.
Bill number 2826, an ordinance concerning zoning commercial districts apartment dwelling units.
Any further discussion? Mr. Smith?
Yeah, and I'll be quick for the sponsor. Is this almost like mixed use, or is it separate from that? Like you have a commercial place on the first floor, and then they have an apartment on the back end, and an apartment entrance from that backside?
You got it, and
Okay.
it's a dwelling unit.
Got it.
One, singular.
Okay. All right. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on Bill number 2826.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian.
Aye.
Ms. Ledbetter.
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 2826 has passed.
Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 2926.
Bill number 2926, an ordinance concerning zoning conditional use requirements licensed dispensaries of cannabis.
Mr. Volkey?
I see the big guns have shown up. Welcome. All right. Well, he's one we're used to, you know? I mean, it's a new level. All right. With that, again, a community-driven effort to change the code is what we are dealing with here. So I had some folks reach out to me, again, not a business owner, not a developer, to ask that we take a look at some changes in the code that may be appropriate for dispensaries of cannabis, licensed dispensaries of cannabis. With that, I took a look at this in the code. I took a look at our history on how we have regulated setbacks and distance requirements in the code. I took a look at what was going on in state law and what was allowed. I worked with our legislative counsel, who did an excellent job drafting this bill, and we were able to put together what is the allowable sort of setback distance requirements that the code in the state law will allow us to do in county code. So that is exactly what's happening here. To kind of make this clear, this is a 2-page bill. It's pretty straightforward. And what it says is it will add to the code for licensed dispensaries, growers, and processors of cannabis the following. The lot line of the property may not be within 500 feet of the closest lot line of a pre-existing school, playground, recreation center, library, public park, place of worship, licensed child care center, or registered family child care home. Number 7, the lot line of the property may not be located within 100 feet of the closest lot line of a property with a residential use. Then number 8, the lot line of the property may not be within a half mile of the closest lot line of another dispensary. My understanding is that that last item is where the Office of Law had some concerns about my bill, despite the fact that it was run through them prior to introduction, and this was not raised at the time. I understand through the work session that this issue was something that they caught and said we need to address this. So at the appropriate time, I will offer an amendment that will adjust this to, I believe it's 1,000 feet. Is that right, Ms. Beach? Thank you. Yep. And in terms of that adjustment, that is not necessarily something that I agree that state law requires. I think the way that the Office of Law is reading it is different than how I read it. But that said, lest we get into a back and forth with them, we will go ahead and just modify that requirement to what the Office of Law believes is the appropriate distance limitation there. So with that, these requirements that we are putting into the county code through this bill are what the state law says we are allowed to do. And so this will apply countywide to any licensed dispensary of cannabis, and it will set these setbacks, which the state law allows us to do. And in terms of the measuring from the lot lines, again, that was a recommendation on the initial draft of this from the Office of Law. I appreciated that and what we had put together too. And my understanding is that there is nothing in state law that dictates how measurement has to be done. And I've asked Ms. Beach, who's our legislative counsel, if I get anything wrong to jump in and correct me. But you all have the guidance from her that she's provided to us in terms of how this comports, and then also how cannabis dispensaries and alcoholic beverage establishments are governed under the code and where the similarities and differences are. And as I know all of you are aware, the vast majority of the governance when it comes to alcoholic beverage establishments is set in state law, and we have a lot less room to navigate there because the requirements are much stricter. Cannabis licensed dispensaries of cannabis, the state has given us some leeway, and this operates within that leeway. So with that, I would ask for my colleagues' support.
Administration.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ethan Hunt for the administration. With me, I have Jansen Evelyn, our Deputy CAO for Land Use, the big guns, Kelly Kenny, our Supervising County Attorney, and Lynn Miller, our Assistant Planning and Zoning Officer. So we did raise 3 issues at the work session that we had concerns with on this bill. And so we continue to be opposed to this legislation. The first point is the legal issue regarding the preemption of the half-mile distance, and I do understand that there's an amendment to address that. However, we still have some concerns regarding the policy implications of this legislation, which I will turn it over to Jansen Evelyn to walk through. But I do appreciate the sponsor's willingness to meet with us and discuss and walk through everything in the bill.
Good evening, everyone. There's no way that I can live up to the hype. And that was very strategic of Councilman Volke. Yes, I want to echo what Mr. Hunt noted. I appreciate the fact that we were able to sit down and have a pretty collegial conversation around this. I want to also, at the outset, on behalf of all, as I speak directly to the residents, I want to acknowledge that this legislation, as he mentioned, community driven. I know that this legislation is driven by real concerns from the residents, particularly in Pasadena, about how these facilities are sited. The administration, we hear those concerns and we share the goal of ensuring that these businesses are integrated responsibly into the Anne Arundel County community. But let's be clear, this bill responds to a specific site in conflict, and it tries to apply a county-wide regulatory solution. That dynamic has system-wide consequences for how we're going to administer zoning in these commercial areas. At its core, this bill is not merely a refinement of existing policy, but it represents a bit of it represents a real big shift away from the framework that this council unanimously adopted in 2023 under Bill 5623. At the time, the council made a clear determination that local distance restrictions were overly limiting and inconsistent with a functional regulatory system that was now being established to make sure that these dispensaries could be cited. The county aligned its approach with state standards to provide predictability, fairness, and administrative clarity. This bill, because of one specific citing concern, moves in a completely opposite direction. And we appreciate, based on the conversation and based on his willingness to engage in dialogue, that the proposed amendment, it is going to adopt the state's 1,000-foot separation distance. But the operative issue, as he talked about, is not the number, it's how the distance is going to be measured. Today, the county applies a pretty consistent and established methodology. How many cannabis dispensaries have we cited already? You said 13? I'm sorry to put you on the spot, Lynn. I don't want to say the wrong number.
To my knowledge, we have 10 dispensaries that are operating and licensed.
Forgive me, I added 3. What this bill, if passed, would replace that approach with the lot line to lot line standard. That's not just a small technical change. It's going to essentially expand the effective buffer. Using the same 1K feet lot line measurement, it pushes the boundary substantially outward and reduces the number of compliant sites across the county, point blank, period. So in practical terms, what this bill, even though it's only a few paragraphs long, it introduces from my perspective, unnecessarily more restrictive standard on the appearance of alignment with state law. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions. I want to make sure we hear and listen from the public. And I want to be mindful, since everyone else has a 2-minute warning, I want to kind of stick to that.
Mr. Volke.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just quickly, because I think it would be helpful for everybody. How does the Office of Planning and Zoning currently review the citing requests for a licensed dispensary of cannabis, keeping in mind that the distance requirements that we're putting in, as I understand it, are already in state law? How does the Office of Planning and Zoning measure that? Or are you not, because it's not in our code? Which one is it?
Lynn Miller, Planning and Zoning. Prior to 2023 and the bill that passed then, we measured it the way that it was specified in the code.
Okay.
So yeah, there was no policy determination, it was codified.
Gotcha.
Since then, to my knowledge, the dispensaries that have been approved were, they would have been either approvable or not, regardless of whether you measured it to a lot line or to a structure. In other words, they were either well outside or well inside of that distance. So it was sort of a we didn't have to worry about how to measure it because it wasn't a question.
Okay, got you. So for the 10 licensed cannabis dispensaries that are in existence, what I think I hear you saying is we really haven't encountered this issue yet. And this is sort of the first one where we're encountering the issue and we're having to grapple with how do we measure this. Is that a fair way to put it?
Yes, I think so. I mean, the distance requirements have changed over the years, and also prior to 2023, they had to get special exception approval.
I remember.
So there were other steps in the process, but currently is really the first time that we are having to determine how we're going to take those measurements.
Okay, thank you. And so understanding that this discussion, I'm assuming, is happening internally in Office of Planning and Zoning even prior to this legislation. Does the administration have a different course that the administration would prefer in terms of how to measure these distances under state law as compared to how we're suggesting to do it, or I'm suggesting to do it in this bill?
And I can also, I mean, Lynn, you can also jump in, but I know that currently the county, the way we measure these applications, it's lot line to entryway.
So would you rather do it that way?
Honestly, I think that's the way that the county has been handling those applications. Yes.
Okay, and so if we were to amend to that, would that then get the administration's support on this?
I would want to go back and talk with the rest of my team.
I got you.
And before I would put myself in that position. Okay. But great question. And again, like I mentioned earlier, I continue to appreciate your willingness to engage on this.
You know I love to engage. And I'll just add one additional point. When we did Bill 5623, my recollection of that conversation, and I'll have to go back and watch it again, but I recall that the position we were presented with was effectively the state had preempted us on everything. And so our code was not in compliance with state law and we needed to get rid of it. And I will be very blunt. I don't think that any of us at that time were considering, was there any sort of narrow exception or way that we could do anything in the county code at that time to deal with these types of issues. I will say, you know, fast forwarding to now and understanding that the state did leave sort of a narrow window open, that's what this is codifying. So I'm happy to go back and sort of review the testimony on 5623 and see it, but that's how I recall that was presented to us. And I think that was part of why it was a unanimous vote of the council, was it was presented effectively as the state has jumped into this field, the state has preempted it, our code's not in compliance, we need to fix everything to do that. So that's how I recall that going, just for purposes of kind of putting that out there. But again, thank you for being here.
All right.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. That is exactly what the conversation was, because I did go back and watch the discussion, because this is not just affecting Pasadena residents. I've heard from residents in Severna Park who are members of nearby churches in proximity to this location. And I did not support the initial medical cannabis legislation in 2019, but when 5623 did come to the council, it was very much presented like, council, you have no choice. We're out of step with state law. As often happens with legislation that gets passed, it's not until we start seeing those uses come online that we can identify, oh, well, maybe we need to go back and look at this. So this is not an unusual situation that we are in. But I did think it was important to note the context of Bill 5623 and that vote.
May I?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and look, it's very rare that Councilmember Volke and I have such collegial conversation when he's on the dais. So I want to take this opportunity to also note I cut my remarks a bit short, but the other part, since he's so willing and open to getting this bill to a place where the administration would support, the other part that I completely failed to talk about was this bill, his legislation, also introduces a 100-foot buffer from any property with a residential use. So instead of relying on zoning districts, this provision is tied to individual ones. So in a community like ours, and this esteemed council over the past 7 years have done a lot of legislation around with mixed use, residential and commercial. So in a community like ours where residential and commercial uses are often integrated, what he proposes with the 100-foot buffer, it creates a fragmented pattern of, for lack of a better word, exclusion. So it would result in essentially a checkerboard effect that eliminates large portions of otherwise viable commercial space. So, so this bill, in all likelihood, would make it much more difficult to locate and site a dispensary, particularly in a space where, as the county continues with less developable land to move towards mixed use, it would have an adverse impact in that perspective. Am I missing anything, Lynn? Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
do we have a sense from our esteemed colleagues here at the table how other jurisdictions have handled this issue with the sort of missing information in the state law?
Well, most of the, and again, I didn't look at the jurisdictions, the smaller jurisdictions in Western or Eastern Shore. I primarily focused on like the big seven. Many of them have the 1,000 foot distance requirement, which is standard. So again, we appreciate Amendment 1. When it comes to how we measure it, many of those jurisdictions, they either have, like Montgomery County, they would either have, I think it's either a lot line to lot line or entryway to entryway. So what we're not proposing necessarily that we go to the most liberal standard. I think everyone here understands, not necessarily through this particular piece of legislation, but we do believe there's a necessity to have some level of codification around this. I think, obviously, I think this bill expires, July? The first intro date in July. So I know that we have some opportunity to continue to engage, to come up with a standard that would be, one, codified, but also not exclusionary.
Thank you.
All right. We will now open the public hearing on Bill number 2926. Madam Secretary, did we receive any testimony through the online testimony tool?
Yes, Madam Chair. We received 6 pieces which were shared with the council, added to the record, and posted to the website.
Okay, we will now call on individuals who signed up ahead of the meeting. When I call your name, please come up to the table and have a seat. When it's your turn, state your name and address for the record. Remarks will be limited to 2 minutes. Please listen for the buzzer and respect the 2-minute time limit as others are signed up to speak. If you have more than 2 minutes to share, I'm going to ask you to submit your additional thoughts as early as tomorrow using our online testimony tool. So I'm going to call up the first 6 people who signed up ahead of time: Eddie Pounds, John Knupp, Jeffrey Kubik, Jennifer Jackson, Alexander Dix, and Stephen Clark. Sir, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening, esteemed council members. For the record, my name is Eddie Pounds. I'm here to testify on behalf of Vital Dispensary. I am a registered lobbyist in the state and an attorney who practices here in the state of Maryland. Vital Dispensary is located at 91 Ritchie Highway in Pasadena. As a point of clarification, first of all, I want to thank the bill sponsor, and I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to talk. But I have spoken to the majority of the council members here, so I do appreciate that opportunity. As a point of clarification, part of my background is as a land use and zoning attorney, but in Prince George's County. And what I did notice, and I'm also a liquor license attorney, I noticed that in your code, or in the state code, let me say it that way, in the Alcoholic Beverages and Cannabis Code, Section 11-1603, Section A, it actually does describe how to measure for alcohol retail stores from sensitive uses like a place of worship or schools, and it's entryway to entryway. So I just want to make sure that if this body does decide on a particular way to measure, that it doesn't conflict with 11-1603A. So Vital Dispensary is situated on 2.66 acres of land. It's about 10,000 square feet in size. The owner is a gentleman by the name of Brandon Davis. He's a 31-year-old entrepreneur, mechanical engineer by trade. He's what's known as a social equity licensee. And that program was created to address the inequity in licenses between Caucasians and African Americans and brown folks. This property was lawfully purchased about 4 months ago for $3 million. This is a state-supported license program designed to assist minorities, as I said, We are only making renovations to the interior. We are not messing with or addressing anything on the exterior. I want you to know, and I'll close with this.
Thank
We
you,
have been
sir.
working with the church, and
Thank you,
we'll
sir.
continue to do so. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yes, sir. You may go ahead.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Reverend John Knupp. I serve as the pastor of Pasadena United Methodist Church at 61 Governor Ritchie Highway. Our congregation has operated at this location since 1958 and in this neighborhood of Anne Arundel County since 1919. For the past 50 years, we've partnered with Pasadena Early Learning Center, which operates 5 days a week with over 60 children daily using our classrooms and our playground. This playground extends to the south edge of our lot line, which sits just under 300 feet from the lot owned at 91 Ritchie Highway. Since November, we've attempted to make sense of conflicting information about minimum distance requirements between a licensed dispensary and a place of worship, school, or playground, since our lot includes all three. There are several pages of state code which regulate the safe operation of licensed dispensaries, and we're grateful for that. Pages of legislation provide guidance and protection for the licensed owners. Our concerns as neighbors and members of the community begin where these rules end. Only a few lines of code refer to the safety concerns about neighboring property, governed by simple distance requirements that were already referred to. The state zoning requirements for providing a license to a proposed dispensary are guided by a desire for parity with the granting of liquor licenses, guarding against any bias against the legal operation of cannabis dispensaries. Distance requirements in this case being cut in half from 1,000 feet in the liquor store to 500 feet. The legislation introduced by Councilman Voakley provides needed clarity to this matter. This language provides consistency within the county code related to how distance requirements are measured, either lot line to lot line or lot line to entryway, if amended as proposed. Our neighborhood needs businesses and organizations that contribute to the greater safety and well-being. We happily work together on any efforts to strengthen our community, but assert the value of observing state district requirements as vital to the integrity of our mission. On behalf of the trustees of Pasadena United Methodist Church, we urge the County Council to affirm this guidance.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Madam Chair, council members, good evening. My name is Jeff Kubik, 99 Dales Way Drive, Pasadena, Maryland. I'd like to open this evening with a quote from an American patriot, Thomas Paine, offered in 1776. I offer nothing more than simple facts, plain arguments, and common sense. On July 17th, 2023, members of this council approved unanimously Bill 5623, which significantly eliminated or reduced restrictions imposed upon cannabis dispensaries in commercial properties. I find it amazing that it is harder to open a new liquor store or even a plasma center in Anne Arundel County than a cannabis dispensary. As I was listening through testimony this evening, I applaud the council for the level of diligence and empathy applied to each and every bill that's presented before this body. And I remind folks, in terms of simple common sense, by eliminating the special exemptions and going to conditional use, we've eliminated the opportunity for public discourse and debate as we're enjoying now. Plasma dispensaries may not be 1,000 feet from a dwelling, school, or within 1 mile of another cannabis dispensary. That's in Bill 5623 that was approved on July 17th, 2023. I purchased 99 Dales Way Drive 2 months before that property changed hands. I am not in a mixed-use development, and I resent the fact of the County Planning Board misconstruing the zoning of my current property or the taxes that I pay this body.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Council members, my name is Dr. Alexander Dix. I am here on behalf of Vital Dispensary as their subject matter expert and clinical director. I am a doctor of pharmacy, a licensed pharmacist in Ohio and in Maryland, and I have served as a clinical director for multiple dispensaries for over 8 years. I presented on cannabis pharmacology at the Cleveland Clinic, Johns Hopkins University, University of Maryland, and I previously testified before the Maryland Senate Finance Committee on Cannabis legislation, and I'm here to share the science. First, safety. No lethal dose of cannabis has ever been established. Alcohol kills 178,000 people a year, Americans per year. Tobacco kills 480,000 Americans per year. Cannabis's dependency rate is 9%, the same as caffeine. Tobacco, 32% and 15% for alcohol. Cannabis's withdrawal is mild and never life-threatening. Second, relapse. No published study has ever established that a licensed dispensary causes relapse in people recovering from substance use disorders. The literature is clear. Relapse is driven by stress, trauma, and mental illness, not by the presence of a regulated retail establishment. If it were, every recovery program near a liquor store would be failing. Third, youth access. Since states began legalizing cannabis, teen cannabis use has gone down, not up. CDC confirms a 26% drop among high schoolers between 2013 and 2023. Licensed dispensaries verify IDs on every transaction, something no liquor store, smoke shop, or gas station is required to match. Finally, and this is the core point, cannabis demand in this community already exists. The only question is whether it is met by tested, regulated, age-verified products or an illicit market documented to contain pesticides, heavy metals, mold, and synthetic adulterants.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Jennifer Jackson. I live in Pasadena, Maryland, the neighborhood that backs up to this property. I think the testimony I've heard from the vital representatives is a clear indication that they have not done their due diligence and partnered with the community to understand our concerns. We are not concerned about the science or the safety of cannabis. I have been a long-term cannabis last prisoner project supporter. I've supported dispensaries coming to our county. I think I've been to all 10 of those that are referenced. None of them are near a school. None of them are near a home. They are on high traffic areas. You've got Gold Leaf, Ritual, Ritchie Highway, 450 in Annapolis, down in the center of Crofton. They're not near homes. They're not near schools. I heard him say that if we make this one change, it affects everybody. Why would we want this anywhere near our schools, counties, libraries, the things that it says it's not supposed to be near? This is our opportunity to not have this conversation again. I agree with the 100-foot minimum for residential to dispensary line. Hearing how my neighbor was spoken to by the owner of this dispensary and what he's gone through, I'm out. I would have been supportive of this until I heard this. And even given the traffic issues this is going to cause. Now that I know it affects 2 neighborhoods, 2 preschools, 2 churches, the streams that feed the river and bay directly behind it, the additional traffic, we already have backup at that traffic light. People cut through that neighborhood. We have walkers from the elementary school in that neighborhood at multiple times of the day. Those roads are already not maintained. You're going to have to resurface all of those roads because people will cut through there. They're also going to do what they do to Corwells. They're going to walk through and they're going to cut through our neighborhood and the school property to get to that dispensary. They already do it. We already have a problem with it with our field day.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Steve Clark. I live at 106 Dalesway Drive in Pasadena. And I'd like to support this bill and suggest that buffer zones are very much appropriate between this use and the libraries, churches, child care centers. And I also agree with the residents. We were told by the owner of this that they were very secure because he was putting up cameras and you'd have security there. Well, that says very obviously to me that there's a danger of either theft or something going on. And so there should be some restriction between how close these things are to a residence, where there could be children playing out in the yard and something could happen at the center and they try to run away and it goes through that backyard. So I do think that that's an appropriate thing, and I disagree with the county lawyer who said that that was irrelevant to do that. I think it's a very relevant point. And so I respectfully submit that a lot line to lot line or lot line to door measurement is appropriate. When this first came up, I tried to find out what was the measurement because it said 500 feet, but nothing said 500 feet where. I made multiple calls to planning and zoning. I called different offices to try to find what is the definition of a 500-foot measurement, and there is none. And so I think a definition is very, very appropriate in these settings, and I support this bill.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Next group, Barbara Clark and Brian Riley. And if there's anyone else who wishes to speak on this bill, you may come up at this time. Yes, ma'am, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I'm Barbara Clark, 106 Dalesway Drive, Pasadena, Maryland. I am both mother, grandmother, and a registered nurse. I am not here to oppose cannabis dispensaries anywhere in Anne Arundel County, except we're going to talk about, but rather to support Bill number 2926, which establishes reasonable common sense boundaries for location of cannabis dispensaries, protecting primary schools, secondary schools, child care centers, playgrounds, recreation centers, libraries, place of worship, and residential properties. I'd like to share a study conclusion dated December 1st, 2025 from the Washington State Institute for Public Policy stating, quote, people across the state who lived near licensed marijuana stores were more likely to be diagnosed with cannabis use disorder, which is characterized by continued use of cannabis despite distress or impairment in one of life robustly tied to depression, anxiety, and other mental health disorders. Researchers compared individuals who lived within a 10-minute drive to those who lived further away. The study showed people ages 12 to 20 under the legal age to purchase were 13% more likely to be diagnosed with cannabis use disorder if they lived near, connected with sites listed near a cannabis shop. This bill provides more protection to underage children than what is currently in place. These stats and percentages are very disturbing. In this day and age, when our youth are overwhelmed with issues that are causing mental health disorders, can we really ignore evidence-based research that is warning us not to have dispensaries near facilities outlined in the proposed bill? When you pass this bill, you can rest your head at night knowing that you have done your part, something valuable for the most vulnerable, the children and the youth in our community. We are not talking about just one place. We are talking about all cannabis dispensaries for Anne Arundel County to follow under Bill number 2926. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.
I'm Brian Riley. I'm a member of UMC Pasadena, and thank you. Good evening. I'm here to speak regarding the proposed cannabis dispensary and several concerns related to compliance with Anne Arundel County zoning procedures and community impact. First, I want to address the issue of public notification. I became aware of this, that we just happened to have a neighbor talk to the owner, and that's how we found out it was a dispensary, and that's unacceptable. Anne Arundel County places a strong emphasis on transparency in zoning matters. If standard notice requirements such as posting, mailing, or public hearing disclosure were not fully carried out, that raises serious procedural concerns. Residents deserve proper notice and the opportunity to participate in discussions that affect their neighborhoods. Second, the proposed dispensary appears to be located within 1,000 feet of a church that operates a daycare. Anne Arundel County has historically taken land use compatibility seriously, particularly when it involves children facilities, schools, and places of worship. The proximity of this type of business to a daycare environment warrants careful scrutiny. Just so you know, that daycare environment is an early learning center. It teaches 2-, 3-, and 4-year-olds, and it's been around for 50 years this year. It has always had very significant attendance. Third, cannabis dispensaries are legal under Maryland law. There are still valid concerns about potential secondary impacts, including loitering, trafficking, and safety perceptions. For parents and caregivers, even the perception of increased risk near a child care facility can be deeply concerning. And that's an issue. You know, if you're going to have your child go to a daycare center, you know, are you going to take it to the one that has a distribution dispensary right next to it, or are you going to find another? And that's what concerns us a lot, that this may drive the attendance.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
My name is
Laura Stumfall, 8348 Smiths Lane, Pasadena. I did not prepare a big thing, but I felt it important to say something. We do have a dispensary on Magathy Beach Road, and driving down there ever since it's been open, you have to close your windows in your car because you smell it. I'm tired of my child coming home and telling me about how much they are inhaling it. It's not a choice for people to not inhale it. You know, you talk about drinking alcohol, well, that's a choice. Standing by somebody or driving by somebody or walking by somebody that's smoking, you don't have a choice in breathing air. I have a concern because the dispensary that is being proposed is near our church, our schools, the kids that I work with. I'm the youth director there, and it's exposing them, giving them even more exposure than they would normally have by being right there. We have a community that we're supporting, recovering from addiction, and they're going to be right next to this dispensary. That's not helping them. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.
My name is Mike Stumfall, 8348 Schmitz Lane, Pasadena. Madam Chair, what do you smell on your drive home, on your commute, and when you stop at an intersection? So we have laws saying that you can't have an open container in a car, but now it's okay to be high while you drive home? I guess that's what's happening. And we were talking about schools and teenagers not taking more marijuana. What we hear from our children, go in the bathrooms, the gummies are everywhere. You know, where do they get them from? Yeah. I think it's a lot of hyperbole from the representative from the state. And we want more of this on Ritchie Highway, near our preschools, churches, and the private homes. We don't currently allow alcohol sales in our stores. We have restrictions in place, and I think we should have more restrictions in place up to what the state allows. Why consider loosening regulations on hallucinogenics? Let's work on increasing the regulations. It's marijuana today, it's going to be mushrooms soon. And if we see a marijuana dispensary being purchased by someone outright, it wasn't a conditional purchase with an option to buy, hoping that he would get his conditional use approved. It was an outright purchase. So he already knew something, that he was going to get his conditional use approved. That's just an assumption on my part. It means that things are too loose, that there is enough gray in the system that he thinks he can get this through. I, for one, think let's strengthen regulations instead of weakening it. Let's go to what the state allows. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity to address the council this evening. My name is Lee Augsburger. I serve as the executive pastor at Severna Park Evangelical Presbyterian Church, located at 114 Ritchie Highway. Our church has been present at that location since 1980 and has grown to some 400 to 500 participants each weekend. But in addition to the weekend activities, literally hundreds of children spend time at the church every week in boys and girls programs, in a K through 12 homeschool co-op, and other youth programs. In addition, our food pantry serves over 300 Anne Arundel households every week. There are churches that gather in their building only on Sunday and aren't there during the week. Ours is not one of them. We applaud Councilman Volke's proposal as it provides clarity to the Maryland House Bill 805, and we agree with the submitted testimony of Reverend Knupp that the Anne Arundel County legislation as it currently stands cannot sensibly mean that the county has removed setback restrictions from houses of worship. Councilman Volke's proposal makes clear that the state setback requirements would continue to apply within the county to houses of worship, to playgrounds, to libraries, and other sensitive locations. His proposal also makes clear the way in which these distances are to be measured. The current measurement criteria, as I read 5623, is lot line to lot line. We believe this is a simple and straightforward method. It's easy to apply and provides clear determinations. And I would note that even if we measure door to door, we stand at 448 feet from the current building as proposed at 91 Ritchie Highway. On behalf of the many voters who attend Severna Park, their children, as well as the many adults and children outside of our membership, we urge the adoption of this proposal.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on Bill 2926? Okay, seeing no movement, the public hearing on Bill number 2926 is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 2926.
Bill number 2926, an ordinance concerning zoning, conditional use requirements, licensed dispensaries of cannabis.
Okay, any further discussion before we move forward with the amendment? Okay, Madam Secretary, please read amendment number 1.
Amendment number 1. This amendment changes the lot line requirement between dispensary properties to be at least 1,000 feet.
Mr. Volke.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As noted in my initial remarks, this was something that was raised by the Office of Law and the administration in their second review of this bill. So despite the fact that I don't necessarily agree that the state law precludes the institution of the half-mile distance to get on the good side of Office of Law, for lack of a better way of saying it, I'm going to go ahead and just introduce this amendment and put this forward so that hopefully, to the extent that there are any concerns that this bill does not comport with state law, that we can address those, and then this will simply be a policy discussion for this body to determine how to move forward and how to set the regulations for licensed dispensaries of cannabis. Thank you. Move the amendment.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Administration?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree that this does address the legal issue that was raised. So to that extent, we're comfortable with this amendment.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment number 1.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volke.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Rodbian.
Aye.
Ms. Ledbetter.
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment number 1 has been adopted.
Okay. Bill number 2926 as amended will be heard on May 18th, 2026. Madam Secretary, please read the title of resolution number 926.
Resolution number 926, resolution selecting SC&H Group, an independent firm of certified public accountants to perform the financial audit for fiscal year 2026.
I put forth this amendment. It does what it says. It's putting, it's naming our audit group for our independent financial audit each year. Administration is not going to comment because this is a county council issue. Is there any discussion? Anyone? Mr. Volke, you're not going to say anything? Oh my goodness alive. Okay, we will now open the public hearing on resolution number 926. Madam Secretary, did we receive any testimony through the online testimony tool?
No, Madam Chair, we did not.
Okay, no one signed up ahead of time. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak on resolution number 926? Seeing no one, public hearing on resolution number 926 is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of resolution number 926.
Resolution number 926, resolution selecting SC&H Group, an independent firm of certified public accountants to perform the financial audit for fiscal year 2026.
Any further discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll on resolution number 926.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volke.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Rodbian.
Aye.
Ms. Ledbetter.
Aye.
And Ms. Hummer.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Resolution number 926 has been adopted.
Is there any other business any council member would like to bring before the county council at this time? Mr. Volke?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. The county council is adjourned to the public until Monday, May 11th at 10 a.m., when we will begin department presentations on the FY27 budget here in our chambers. May the 4th be with you.